Well, it took a little bit longer to put this video together than I initially planned, but it is time for another 5-year plan, this time out with the LA Kings, a team that is in a very fascinating spot right now, and arguably a worse spot ever since Ken Holland took over. But they have a team where you look at them and you say, what even are you? And I think through the first 15 games or so of the NHL season, that kind of checks out for the Kings so far. Obviously, the big story this year is the pending retirement of Anze Kopitar, and now what happens to this team heading into this season, during the season, and especially after the season, where they just seem to have some pieces, but maybe don't quite know what to do with them. Again, I mentioned Ken Holland already. Now, I did mention this video took a little bit longer to put together than I initially wanted. That is because the league has gone crazy. Every time I would go to record this, it would be, oh, this person signed, or this person signed. All the big deals, with the exception of Quinn Hughes, which who knows, maybe he'll be signed by the time this video comes out. But I go to record, Jack Eichel signs. Like a few days later, Lane Hudson signs. There was the Natris deal. Like it's been kind of nuts, but I finally drew a line in the sand and said, hey, let's do this and let's see what happens. So again, as I do with these 5-year plan videos, if you haven't checked out the Oilers one that was uploaded a couple of weeks ago, essentially, we're not necessarily just trying to win the cup within 5 years. We're trying to make sure that if those 5 years are up and we haven't won, that this team is in a better spot, whether it be on the other side of a rebuild or perhaps we have won a Stanley Cup. And that is certainly going to be the target for season 1, trying to win one more Stanley Cup for Kopitar before he goes. We have dropped down his potential, so his overall will drop, pretty low by the end of the season. So it's not totally realistic, but we have to replicate the fact that he is going to fall off. And like I said, you look at the rest of this roster and it's like, oh, okay, there's some good pieces. Fiala, Byfield, Kempe, Laferriere is a decent young player, but then you get to the matter of the Ken Holland of the matter, and you look at that defense, and I cannot besmirch the good name of Brian Dumoulin, a fellow Mainer who has won a Stanley Cup. I cannot besmirch the name of Joel Edmondson, who may not be from the same state as I, but who did beat the Boston Bruins in the 2019 Stanley Cup Final with the St. Louis Blues, so I can't trash talk him without looking like a salty bitch. And then there's Cody Ceci. And look, I can't. I gotta be nice to Cody Ceci, because who else? Nobody else is nice to Cody Ceci, ever. Be nice to Cody Ceci once. It's not his fault that everyone's like, no, he's great, and let's pay him a bunch of money. It's not his fault. He's just got a damn good agent. And then there's Brandt Clark, who sometimes they barely play it. Again, I don't know what they're doing. So we're going to try to bring a bit of a vision to this team. Novel concept, I know. We're going to try to bring some stability to this team, despite the fact that we're losing the stability that Anze Kopitar has provided throughout his entire career. But outside of Kopitar, the last man standing of this era is Drew Doughty, at least within the Kings. Obviously, like Jonathan Quick's still in the league and stuff like that. I'm intrigued to see how this plays out. Like I said, season 1, we're going all in. We're going to do our best to get Kopitar one more championship on the way out. But if we even get to the trade deadline and it's obvious that this just isn't going to happen, we might have to look at a couple of different things. But, I mean, as you can see here, too, in terms of value, we don't have that big S-tier level prospect. With respect to the guy, like Liam Greentree right now is the best prospect, really, that you could argue that they have, at least in the game, certainly. Brustowitz as well. Obviously, guys like Turcotte, he's in the NHL for real, but I had to drop him down to the AHL because we just didn't have space. This feels like a team that is kind of in a Penguins-like situation of like, what even are you? A lot of key players are older. What are you going to do about it? But that said, the Pittsburgh Penguins, at least at the time of recording, are a top 10 team in the NHL, and the LA Kings are a bottom 10 team. So we'll see what happens with all of this. I certainly don't have an answer for it, but it should be fun regardless. Well, I gotta be honest, season hasn't been that bad so far. 29, 20, and 12. We aren't in the playoffs right now, but as you can see here, we are technically right there, just out on tiebreaker with 21 games to go. So we are going to be all in on this trade deadline. No doubt about it. I have no idea how much we're going to really be able to do, but we are going to try. Kevin Fiala's been great this season. Kempe just doesn't score goals. Byfield's been really good, though, which, of course, has been a big strategy for Season 1. And then, as you can see, Kopitar down to an 81, but still playing quite well. So whatever we can do here, it has really been scoring by committee. I meant to be sorted by forwards there. As you can see, though, just 2 forwards under 20 points. Our lowest scoring forward is Corey Perry. And then defensively, Doughty's still doing well. 27 points for Clark. He and Anderson have been a really, really good top pair for us. Goaltending's been solid as well. Kemper and Forsberg. Forsberg at a 905. So let's see what we can do. Let's see who's available. We are going all in to try and help Mr. Kopitar exit on a very, very high note if we can. So not that it'll matter here based on how we're doing trades. List ourselves as a buyer. Let's see who's out there. First and foremost, Rasmus Anderson. Is Calgary interested? Obviously, IRL, Calgary's been bad. 2 first-round picks and Alex Turcotte. That's a lot. Our first-round pick next year is tough to give up. Anderson, ooh, boy, he has not been putting up points. He has not been putting up points. Obviously, he's really, really good defensively. I mean, Elite Warrior is great. He's got his deal expiring. We'll come back to that unless Calgary just dealt him to Detroit for Axel Sandin Pellikka, Carter Bear, and a 3rd. Okay, there goes that. Nick Schmaltz. Utah looking to get rid of Nick Schmaltz. A 1st, a 2nd, and goaltender Carter George. I mean, George really is kind of the future of this team right now. But I imagine Schmaltz would help quite a bit. 21 goals, 35 assists. That's not bad. Hasn't signed an extension. I thought for sure Utah was going to trade him right there. No, it's Carolina somehow trading Kotkaniemi in a deal involving John Carlson. Jonas Brodin, he's got 3 years left on his deal. No thank you. Maybe not, depending on the deal. I mean, a 1st, George, and a 4th. Okay, so I mean, it's... Jared Spurgeon's 36. I'd be too afraid he's going to decline. Michael Matheson, Brian Rust... God, do we really want to go for Brian Rust? We'd probably rather go for Schmaltz, right? Utah is looking to blow it up, man. Oli Mata's been dealt. You got John Marino, Lawson Krause. I mean, if we're going for anybody crazy, like a veteran would be Backlund from Calgary. Edmondson, a 3rd and a 4th. Dumoulin, or a 2nd and a 3rd. Okay. Oh, the prices are high, man. The prices are high. And Nick Schmaltz. God, they changed their... Okay, there we go. 1st, a 2nd, and Cece. I don't really want to get rid of Cece, though, so Schmaltz might be out of our range at this point. And that is because they made a deal with Vancouver involving John Marino, so their asking prices have changed. We are that GM at the deadline who all of our preferred options disappear, so we just get stuck holding the bag and having to look at getting somebody else. I really don't want to get rid of Carter George, but I mean, a goalie is a goalie. Like, it's NHL, like, you know, high-value goalies aren't the craziest. Seklinski is there, at least as a bit of a backup plan. Yeah, I don't know. Carter George might be awesome. He might not be, though. We know how this game works. Jonas Brodin, another defensive defenseman. He's got 22 points. He's a -9. I mean, I would have rather have gone for Anderson, I think. 2nd Wyndham Warrior, both specialist. He has no clauses on the deal. I'll let you know if I do anything. What are we even going to do? All right, we have a couple of moves done. Nothing too major, though, I have to be honest. Biggest change at forward, we brought in Eric Halla in a deal involving Hellenius. And then defensively, we brought in Jonas Brodin for a 1st, a 4th, and Carter George, just to try to shore up the defense. We didn't move on from Edmondson. I do try to stay loyal to people that are on pre-existing deals, and he he has that contract. He also has a great agent, but he has that particular contract. So just to quickly look at the actual, like finalized deals. I won't scroll through everything in terms of the trade deadline. But again, Hellenius in a third for Eric Holla, which could be a robbery by Nashville, if we're being honest. We'll see what else we have here. Detroit's getting rid of all their damn prospects. It's kind of sad, but also kind of funny. I guess Yzerman's finally feeling the heat. And then again, a first, George, and a fourth also done. So it was a busy deadline. Not necessarily for us, though, as Braden Coots was in that deal for John Marino. I think Canucks fans would lose their minds if that deal were to happen in real life. Well, I don't know if it's going to be the longest of playoff runs, but thankfully, we are not missing the playoffs in Kopitar's final season. Of course, again, if he doesn't retire in the game, I'll just keep him in, like, Ontario or whatever. It's fine. 39 wins so far. That might be the only one that we get. No, number 40 against Calgary. There we go. And that is good enough for the third spot in the Pacific Division. We'll be taking on Vegas. I guess at least it's not Edmonton. But yeah, we'll be taking on the Vegas Golden Knights in the first round of the playoffs. So that'll be interesting. But in terms of how we did this season, Kevin Fiala was great. 41 goals. Kempe was phenomenal too, but just not as a goal scorer, despite being a sniper. At least he's putting up points. But he, Fiala, and Byfield, great top line. Kopitar still put up 51 points this year, which is great. Same as Trevor Moore. Kuzmenko, another sniper, but just 15 goals. Philip Deneau did okay. Fogle, Laferriere. And then Eric Holla, once he was acquired, 8 points in 20 games. It's okay. It's okay. Defensively, Doughty and Clark each tied with 36 points. And then obviously the big question mark is Brodin, who's not a big point getter, had 4 points in 20 games. As long as he's a positive player, it's fine. Plus minus, of course, isn't crazy, but it helps a little bit. And then for the goaltending, that was our big issue down the stretch, is Anton Forsberg, maybe not the most trustworthy backup. Kemper's numbers also dropped. So again, kind of like I said at the start, you have a lot of players, but it's like, how are these pieces going to fit into place? As a lot of people have noticed as well, the scoring settings in these games are weird. It doesn't matter if you're using someone's custom roster file, which I myself am using the Vasi Tactics 2 roster you can find on Xbox. It doesn't matter if you're using EA rosters. The simming is just really weird this year. At least on like the default medium high. If you put it on high, it's also weird. I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. Honestly, I'm past the point of trying to understand, especially in the aftermath of the conversation glitch that we had earlier when this game first launched. You can search the recent videos. It'll be up there talking about it. I am past the point of trying to understand the inner workings of this game. I just try to either enjoy it for what it is, or if I'm not enjoying it, I just don't play it anymore. Pretty simple, relatively healthy. Something about me has to be healthy, so it might as well be that. Demidov, 43 points. Then again, people know I'm married, and that makes it sound like I'm not in a happy marriage. I am very happily married. Thank you. God. Shout out to Demidov, 43 points. You know the deal by now for who's going to win Rookie of the Year every single season one, although Dobush in real life might win it. I mean, the kid's insane. He's so good. He's so good. So let's take a look then. Year 1 playoffs. Anze Kopitar's last hurrah. I feel like I should break out the Kopitar jersey. I don't even know where it is. Is it not on the wall? It's not on the wall. I don't know where it is. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Let's get a look at the Vegas Golden Knights and see what we are up against. Will Mark Stone be ready for the playoffs? Of course he will be. Let's see what we have here. So it's Barbashev, Eichel, and Marner, Dorofeyev, Hurdle, and Stone, Smith, Carlson, Kolasar, Sissons, Howden, and Holtz. It's good. Defense is Hannafin, McNabb, Lozon, Theodore, Merrill, and Whitecloud. Goaltender, Aiden Hill, and a certain Carter Hart. It's a shame, his career was ruined, and he never got another opportunity again, right? He sure was canceled. Let's see what happens. In this first round, I'm not expecting much, really. I mean, Vegas has to be favorited here. But then again, the LA Kings in the past have been an 8th seed and gone on to win the whole damn thing. So we'll see what happens, and that's not the best start. Holtz and Marner, offset by a Cody Ceci goal, at least. Not quite offset. Vegas makes it 3-1 with a goal by Braden McNabb. And we get one back. Armia scores, but it's too little too late. And the Golden Knights take game 1. Mitch Marner showing up in the playoffs. Sorry, Leafs fans. Let's be honest. You know that's going to happen the second that he left. I'm tempted to put down like a $5 bet that Mitch Marner will be like the Conn Smythe winner this year, because that's just how these things go. Let's be honest. Game number 2. Let's see how this goes. First period, 1-1. Hurdle and LaFerriere. Now 2-2. Trevor Moore and Mark Stone. Hey, how do you like Drew Doughty scored 2 goals from the same spot? Almost, at least. And Kempe also scores. The very least, we're not getting swept, so I'm not complaining. A 4-point night for Drew Doughty. Okay, sure. And it is a 1-1 series split after those first 2 games. It's not bad. You know, I was expecting us to lose, and then I was going to be like, oh, yeah, we're not going to make any lineup changes because it's not going to do anything. We're not going to make any lineup changes. Game 3, 2-0 Kings, Kuzmenko and Fiala. Second period, 3. Oh, my God, Drew Doughty, stop. Stop. Third period, we almost blew it. Jack Eichel and Dorofeyev score, but it is too little too late. We have a 2-1 series lead on the Golden Knights. Drew Doughty, back-to-back first star of the game performances. Sure, I'm not complaining. I'm puzzled, but I'm not complaining. We go to game number 4. Lineup stays the same. I would be a little bit dumb to change anything now. First period. Oh, Darcy Kemper is chased in less than 13 minutes. Second period, make it 5-1. Jonas Brodin scored for us. And the Golden Knights have tied this series up at 2 wins apiece. Complete domination. This game was over, again, within 12 minutes and like 4 seconds, I think it was. Yikes. Yikes, 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 yikes. And that is a gigantic hit to Darcy Kemper's save percentage, which was actually pretty good through the first 3 games. Game number 5, back in Vegas. First period, 1-1. Danault gets the goal for us. Second period, Vegas pulls away. Third period, and they add some more. Armia gets a goal for us, but it's way too late. This back and forth series continues as the Golden Knights will have 2 opportunities to end it, and that starts in Game 6 at home. Oh, will it be the last hurrah for Kopitar? Is there anything we can really even change? I mean, we could take Kemper out for Forsberg, I guess. Like, Forsberg had a 920 in that appearance. I guess we'll give Forsberg the chance. Defensively, Anderson and Clark haven't been doing too much. Dumoulin and Ceci have been terrible. Let's take out Dumoulin for Edmondson. And we'll have Brodin and Doughty be the top pairing here. As far as the forwards are concerned, that first line has done nothing. Eric Holla does not have a point in this series. Okay, let's swap Holla and Kopitar. And, I mean, I can't really afford to break up that top line, even if they're not really clicking right now. It's our most talented players in the best position to succeed, right? Something's got to give. I want to leave Trevor Moore there, too. Let's swap LaFerriere and Fogle, even if it's a bad chemistry. I don't really care. Game 6. We got to win. We have struggled to score goals, certainly. Let's see if Anton Forsberg can keep us in it. The first period, it is 2-0 LA. Ceci and Fiala, of course, Cody Ceci is scoring, as the Ontario Reign have also been eliminated. Goal apiece, Carlson and Kempe, and Vegas ties it in the third. Overtime power play for Vegas. We survive. Can we force Game 7 and extend the career of Anze Kopitar? Holy hell, 50 shots for Vegas. We're supposed to be a good defensive team, aren't we, Ken? What the hell is this? What the hell is this? We're going to double overtime with Kopitar's career hanging in the balance. Power play, and that'll do it. Tomas Hertl ends Anze Kopitar's NHL career. The Vegas Golden Knights win this series in 6 games. We don't have our first-round pick. We don't have our best goalie prospect. And now an all-time franchise legend, if not the all-time franchise legend, is gone. I mean, you can't look at Drew Doughty as dropping the ball, but just 2 goals for Fiala, 3 points for Kempe. I mean, Deno a point, Perry a point. Holla did nothing. Of course, I should have known. And then defensively, Doughty was great. Brant Clark didn't do too much. Dumoulin was terrible. And in goal, Darcy Kemper just could not make all that many saves, could he? So we knew it was going to be off to the next chapter, regardless of what happened this postseason, but we're not exactly entering that next chapter on a high note. No spoilers for the Oilers series, but your season 1 champ, the Edmonton Oilers. Providence Bruins winning the Calder Cup, I should say. Honestly, they might have a better chance of winning the Stanley Cup than the Boston Bruins, based off of their start. The Nashville Predators have won the draft lottery. Of course, we were not involved regardless, and apparently the Dallas Stars were terrible? Hold on just a second. I mean, yes, I'd like to see the retired player list, but I'd also like to see the simulation stop. That would be cool. As you got to look at some of the bigger names to retire. Of course, the end of season 1, the retirement list is never all that extensive. Can we please stop the simulation? I've hit the button like 7 times, 8 times. Stop the simulating. Stop all the downloading. So the Oilers ended up beating the Florida Panthers, go figure, in 6 games. So 3rd time was the charm. Obviously, in real life, the Panthers are off to a bit of a slow start, but they have a bajillion injuries. Also, saw the Buffalo Sabres in the Eastern Conference Final. Crazier things have happened, I suppose, right? Right, like Stuart Skinner having a .923 in the playoffs. It could happen. We're not talking about likelihood. Individual awards, David Pastrnak won the Art Ross. McDavid wins the Hart. Makar, another Norris. Calder to Demidov. Conn Smythe to Leon Draisaitl. Montembeault wins the Vezina. Feel confident in saying that's probably not going to happen this year. Let's see how that ages. Oh, Jack Adams to Mr. Huska. That's not going to happen. The Selke to Sidney Crosby, McDavid to Ted Lindsay, and Pastrnak to Rocket Richard. In the AHL, Alex Turcotte was the top point getter and league MVP. Martin Kaut was the top goal scorer. Reshevsky, the top rookie. Luca Cagnoni, the top defenseman. Jesper Wallstedt, best goalie. And James Higgins, the MVP of the playoffs. The Bruins cannot add a James Higgins to the mix soon enough, although let's be honest, would they even actually use James Higgins? No, they would probably park him in Providence until any and all optimism was gone. But yeah, shout out to the Dallas Stars, who were apparently just dreadful. The Winnipeg Jets were also apparently dreadful. The NHL sim's going to be the NHL sim, right? As we go to this draft, obviously, we don't have that much we can really do this year. But let's take a look. In terms of draft picks, we don't have our first. Second round, we got a couple. We'll see if we actually get anybody half decent. The big thing that I want to talk about is potential trades, and if we really have any options, which we really don't. Like Phoenix Copley's deal is coming due. We could look at flipping Brodin if we wanted to. What could we get for him? Blake Coleman, Teravainen in 2/4, Burakovsky in 2/4, Donato. Okay, either 2 first-round picks from the New York Rangers or the 15th overall pick from the Ottawa Senators. Never mind, the outlook for this draft just changed a lot. Obviously, we're not going to be landing Gavin McKenna, but around 15, you're talking about like Victor Fyodorov, Alessandro Diorio, William Hawkinson, Novotny, and around, 25, 28, Karels, Shilov, Nemec, Beckham Edwards. We do know that our prospect pool is really thin. So the question is, do we want a chance at like one higher end prospect if we're lucky, or because Winnipeg is willing to trade that 7th overall pick, What do the Jets want for that 7th overall? This is actually turning into an interesting scenario here. What would the Jets want for that 7th overall pick? They are not willing to give it up. At least us. Not that we couldn't find a different deal. Now, obviously, if we were to get that 15th overall pick from Ottawa, they might have more intrigue. Jonas Brodin, was good for us. Again, it was just me really trying to go for it. The fact that we can recoup 2 first-round picks, I feel like we have to do that. We need to kind of restock the cupboard a little bit here. So we will move Brodin to the New York Rangers. It's a deal I could see the Rangers looking to do. And anything else that we can do here? Defensively, Clark is looking good and will need a new deal. Doughty, of course, is still getting paid a ton. Of course, I do like to hold on to certain players until they're kind of on an expiring deal. That way we were somewhat loyal. But guys like Kemper, Forsberg, Portillo, they are falling to the final year of their deal. So if we could move Darcy Kemper for a 3rd and Christian Kyrou, that would be a wise deal. So we're going to do it. Goodbye, Darcy Kemper. Makes sense. If we can move Anton Forsberg, that would probably be a wise deal, including, well, let's take a look here at Gavin McKenna being the latest member of the Nashville Predators. But we go back to Forsberg, and there was either Gauthier or the 3rd. I don't like to take high-value prospects away from teams, typically. Let's go for the 3rd, see who we can get. Like, Weinberg's is fine. Forsberg out to Tampa works for me. We'll continue to just kind of tear down what was built recently. Nobody wants Portillo, which is fine. Defensively, if we could move Drew Doughty, like he was obviously really, really good for us. Page is there, Sharkovsky, Mizar. Again, I don't... Granted, in real life, yes, you would see a prospect move for Drew Doughty. But again, I like to see the AI kind of make their own choices about what prospects they keep, which ones they don't, at least for the first couple seasons. So we might revisit a Drew Doughty deal. It's not going to happen right now. Christian Kyrou, who we just acquired, honestly, he's a piece that's worth keeping. Dvorak's young enough as well. Booth, we're not going to need to move. I didn't sort this by overall like I meant to. I just can't imagine. Granted, it was by trade value. I just can't imagine there's really too much going on there. Like, even like Kyle Burrows could get us Oscar Sundqvist, which we could land an Oscar Sundqvist later on. Right wing side, Kempe needs a new deal, which is also scary. Warren Fogle could be dealt if the deal is right. Kieskinen in the 3rd. Getting Cole Iserman for Warren Fogle is just stupid. No, not going to do that. So, again, we'll keep Fogle for now. Kempe is obviously going to stay. Armia, can we get anything for Armia? A 6th and the rights to Nick Foligno. Can we get anything better than a 6th? A 5th rounder from New Jersey. A 4th rounder from Ottawa. I don't mind Armia, but again, the fact that we can get anything for him, we should. And we will just get that straight up 4th round pick from the Ottawa Senators. And then from there, it is basically nothing but prospects. So we'll leave that. Left wing side. Kuzmenko's on an expiring deal. There's really nothing to deal there. And for the centers, could move Philip Deneau, but it's not going to happen. What about Turcotte? Fresh off of winning AHL Player of the Year. 4th round pick. Again, a bunch of high 9 prospects that the AI just don't value enough. A 3rd round pick from the Florida Panthers. 3rd round pick from Montreal. Again, Dobesh is probably due for a potential increase as well. 3rd rounder from the Rangers. 3rd rounder from the Sens. Okay, so a 3rd's about the best we're going to do. Obviously, with Turcotte, the question is, do we think he'll develop at all and be a little bit more worth using heading into the season? He was good in the AHL, but I think we could probably move on from Turcotte. I can't imagine him in real life being a King for that much longer. Could be wrong. Let's see. That Panthers prospect had quite a few years left. Kidney was on an expiring deal. We'll send Turcotte to Montreal for a 3rd round pick. And the teardown has certainly begun in terms of just let's start stripping away some of these pieces. This team is obviously not going to be in a good enough spot to try and compete with the Edmontons, with the Vegases of the world. And we need to kind of face that reality and look at, okay, what are the next steps to get us to that spot? And it involves just getting back whatever we can from an assets perspective. We cannot land the Winnipeg 7th overall. That Ottawa 15th that we talked to them about earlier. Okay, so we're going to have our first round picks. That's pretty straightforward. And we'll look back at what that first round turned out to be. But 25th overall, Marcus Nordmark, Carson Carrolls is there. We're going to take Carson on this one because, as you can see, the rest of the players coming up are all forwards. We might as well take one of the defensemen. So Carson Carrolls, welcome in. That'll get us another defenseman to try to build around. Nordmark and Shiloff are gone. And after that, we have Adam Nemitz, Tomas Cherenko, Beckham Edwards, who I don't think I've used. Simon Kadalichki, Harlobert, and Tobias Tomic. Let's use Edwards. Why not? We're losing a center. Let's gain a center in the form of Beckham Edwards. So if we land anything else in this draft, I'll let you guys know, but otherwise it's probably not going to happen. But this way, of course, you guys can see who ended up where from this IRL upcoming draft. Obviously, you still will have, we'll still have some computers mixed in here and there, I'm sure. But trying to keep that emphasis on these actual prospects, and who knows how badly this will age. That's the fun of an early custom roster, is you base it off of preseason draft predictions, and then those can be thrown right in the trash by the end of the year. All right, Season 2 is about ready to begin here in LA, and as you can probably tell by the fact that Connor Ingram is shaping up to be our starting goaltender, it was not a very busy free agency period, and this team is very likely to take a step back. Let's talk about what this roster looks like for this upcoming year. The good news, Fiala, Byfield, Kempe, top line. I mean, it's good, right? Quentin Byfield up to a 92. We're feeling pretty good about that top line. Second line, Warren Fogle stepped up to being an 88 in the second line forward. He's going to be with Philip Deneau and a hopeful Calder winner in Liam Greentree. It could be a little bit early for him, but I figured, you know what, we're kind of on a short schedule here, so let's see what we can do. Aside from that, Laferriere, Trevor Moore, and Francesco Pinelli has made this team out of necessity. I mean, it was him or a veteran a couple of points better, basically. And then the fourth line is cast-offs from other teams. Brendan Brisson, Daniel Augustin, and Antonio Stranges. So, maybe they'll be able to do something. Maybe. Defensively, it is Mikey Anderson and Brant Clark, and then obviously the chemistry really drops with Doughty, Dumoulin, Edmondson, and Ceci. We're going to have a little bit of an issue. All 6 of these guys are at least top 4 defensemen, so they might get mad, and we'll see what happens with that. Goaltenders are Ingram and Calvin Pickard, so really putting that theory to the test about whether or not goalies actually matter in this game, of course. And then in the AHL, it does include a healthy scratch of Anze Kopitar, of course, to replicate the retirement that did not happen. But we don't have too much in terms of high-end talent, really. There's a couple of more cast-offs guys that weren't signed by their teams, like Gregor Biber. Christian Kyrou is here. We had to give him a lot of money to steal him, but it's fine. It's, like I said, for this team, it's not great. It's not great. And I think a lot of Kings fans probably know that. They're not in the best spot. You could argue for this season. They're not really in the best spot for subsequent seasons either. This year, I think what we're looking at more than likely is like, okay, and again, like the Kings are fine at the moment. I just wanted to kind of say it, like, they're not in the best spot, right? They're not in the best spot. This year, we're probably looking at, okay, if this team's not so hot, probably looking at selling a couple of options. Drew Doughty, who we've named captain, last year of his deal. Probably makes sense to get rid of him, even though there's only 7 teams we can trade him to. You get it. We'll see how we do, but we are certainly looking at more of a rebuild on the fly to have the core around our key players like Anderson and Clark, that top line, as opposed to a full teardown. Someone like Greentree steps up this season, we could really shortcut it that much more quickly. 28, 23, and 9. Not the best season, not the worst. We just kind of are what we are. Still sounds like the current LA Kings, of course. I'm not trying to take shots. The time of recording, you know, they're in the playoff mix. I'm sure they'll be in the playoff mix. They'll make the playoffs. They'll lose to the Oilers again because they always seem to suck in the regular season but figure it out down the stretch. It's just we live in a simulation. It's the same damn simulation over and over again. In terms of how we're doing right now, we are in a wild card spot. We have the Sharks beaten on tiebreaker with 2 games at hand, so that is not too bad. I don't know if this is the team that's worth investing in, though, right? I mean, it's kind of rough. Kevin Fiala has fallen off of a cliff in terms of goal scoring pace from 41 last year now to just 16. His shooting percentage from a 15.7 to an 8.9. Quentin Byfield, 50 points. Not bad. Adrian Kempe just refuses to score goals, despite being a sniper. We're probably going to have to split up that top line, if we're being honest. Fogle has dropped back down to an 86 and a third line forward. You got Philip Deneau, who's doing pretty well. Greentree does have 20 goals. I'm digging it for Liam Greentree, at least. Trevor Moore, 15 and 21. Pinelli, 19 points. It's not that bad. Laferriere stepped up to being a second-line talent, so we're definitely going to bump him up here. Stranges, 14 points and a -8. Brisson, 17 points and a -2. Gushchin, 11 and a -12. Defensively, Mikey Anderson and Brant Clark. I mean, Clark's still putting up points. That's good. Dumoulin is fine. Drew Doughty is not... especially for how much money he's making. And then Edmondson and CC just kind of exist. And the goaltenders, Ingram with a 9.11, 8.95 for Pickard. So we can't look at the goaltending as a problem. Again, in this game, you can pretty much throw anybody in there and you're going to be fine. It is pretty much down to just the forward combinations and the fact that our defense is old and not all that talented with the puck at this stage. So this trade deadline, I might just play it by ear. Honestly, I think we see what deals are potentially available in terms of selling. If there's any good deals there in terms of potential buying options, maybe we go for it, right? Like maybe some teams have kind of screwed up what they're doing in terms of, like, you know, personality management. We see that a lot, right? A lot of guys that are being dealt for pretty much no reason. Jason Robertson is out there. He sat out this entire season. Dallas never came to terms on a deal for him. Laferriere and 2/3. I mean, I like Alex Laferriere, of course. But if you want to talk about a difference, God, he is a really good style power forward, though. Big tipper and truck. No wonder why they want him. Not to mention they'd get to use him this year. But we're getting rid of $11 million worth of Drew Doughty. What happens when we bring in Jason Robertson? But also, what happens with Kempe? What happens with Fiala, who are also top liners? Can we keep them happy in second line roles with power play time? That's one of those deals where it's like, okay, we could consider it. Like, Shabbat's deal is coming due, but I don't see how the hell we'd add anybody on defense, you know? Zach Hyman's deal is coming up at the end of next year. It's showing Deneau on the board. If we were to deal players of ours, which, of course, we do have our own first-round pick this year, by the way, too, so, you know, selling and tanking, in a sense, isn't the worst idea in the world. Really, none of our goalies have that much value, although Slakinski is ready to go. How long did I sign Pickard for? Only for the year. Could we move Pickard? Not necessarily. We could just have him as a healthy scratch. Ingram could fetch us a 4th and Jackson Stauber. Okay. I mean, if we wanted to do that, we could. Again, Ingram hasn't been too bad, though. If we look elsewhere, Dumoulin's got a year left at the end of this. If we move him, it'll be at the deadline. Doughty, nobody wants him. Nobody wants him. Okay, so Drew, yeah, I mean, his value has tanked. So Drew Doughty's here for the rest of this year. Right wing side, Of course, we re-signed Kempe for all that money. Warren Fogel's deal is coming due. And LaFerriere has a year left on his, then Zimmer with 1 year. If we were to move Warren Fogle, what could we do? Yzerman in a second. Again, that's absurd. A second, a third, and Kevin Lankinen. God. So what do you want to do? Get nearly lowballed and like, hey, you want an overpaid goalie? Or, hey, here's one of our top prospects. I mean, granted, yes, it is for, a UFA forward, but it's a middle six forward, and you're giving us a second rounder and a guy in Yzerman that they took not all that long ago in the first round. Like, that's crazy to me. That is crazy to me that the AI would even offer that. That's just such a bad deal. I feel bad about taking it. So if we're not going to deal Fogle, if we're not going to deal Drew Doughty, if we're not going to deal Connor Ingram, it would make sense to kind of go for it. Is there a deal for Danault? Protas, that's the younger Protas, and a second. I feel like that's a little bit more fair, I mean, breaking up, the Protases and everything feels kind of bad. That's a little bit more of a fair deal, I would say. Like, it's not like a super high-end he's good, though, like age, overall potential, but it's not Cole Yzerman, who, in fairness, might not pan out. Long-term, Lankinen's been dealt, by the way. If we deal Philip Danault, it does mean, like, okay, yeah, we're out, right? You can't move Philip Danault and still have a successful season. Is he at least winning faceoffs? That's kind of his thing to do. Yeah, he's still a good faceoff guy. Okay. I mean, we have that one big deal. It just sucks that we can't get rid of Drew Doughty. And, I mean, the offers for Fogle, like his value, no one even wants him now that Vancouver's out. That's crazy. If we were to buy, outside of Jason Robertson, who doesn't help us this season, is there anything that makes sense? I mean, we do have a bunch of high nines and everything, but I'm talking about, buying, making the team better right now. Most teams are just looking to ship off prospects. The Senators are trying to blow it up a little bit. Again, Jensen, I don't really feel like we have much space for another defenseman at this point. Unless we were to, healthy scratch Drew Doughty. Like, Claude Giroux's got an extra year left, and they're not even interested in anything that we have. Toropchenko? I mean, no deals found. Jeez, really? So apparently, the vast majority of what we even have, and of course I'm not limited to just the trade finder, although I like to see what the AI are interested in. The vast majority of what we have, the AI don't even care about. Like, we could get Vladimir Tarasenko, probably for Pinelli and a third. Don't be surprised if I just keep the status quo here. I'll let you guys know what I do, but right now in the moment, I'm undecided because it doesn't look great in either direction, either buying or selling. So remember when I said that on occasion the AI would screw up their relationship with somebody? The Carolina Hurricanes have kind of shot themselves in the foot regarding Alex Nikishin, who is under contract, but has been a healthy scratch all season long. Offensive defenseman, the 92 passing, not the craziest skater in the world, but in terms of what they're looking for, it's Carols, who we took in the first round last year, Pinelli, our fourth line center, and a third round pick, or even a second, a third in Pinelli, if we wanted to keep Carols, which we kind of do. A second, a third in Pinelli for another left-handed defenseman who can add a little bit more skill to what we're doing here. There's no reason not to do this. And again, we know his overall is higher than that because of his player role. Like I said, it kind of creates a logjam on the defensive side. There's no reason to not take this deal. We're picking up Nikishin, who is not happy with life in Carolina, and he ends up being an 85 overall. Beautiful. And actually, his skating's even better than it looked. That was the attribute spread that he had based off of where he was morale-wise. So at least one good thing came out of this trade deadline, I guess. After looking around the league a little bit more, decided I want to pull the trigger on this trade. It's not good for the current. I like Laferriere a lot, but when you can get someone like Jason Robertson without having to go through free agency and okay, you get first negotiating rights at him, I think we have to take it. Again, Laferriere, really, really strong, well-rounded player. He's a great skater. But it's Jason Robertson, and it's another example of a team kind of screwing up their relationship with a player. So it's Laferriere, a third and a fourth for Robertson, who will not be playing for the rest of this season. But that is okay. That is a done deal, and we are going to continue to take advantage of some of these squandered relationships that you're seeing around the league. And again, we're going to have the money for Robertson, right? I mean, once Doughty's deal is up at the end of the year, we're going to have the money. It's just, what is the balance going to be with Kempe, with Fiala, and hopefully Robertson's not another one of those two where they can just randomly decide not to score. All right, and a couple more trades here at the end. 5th round pick in Angus Booth going to Detroit to pick up Andrew Kopp just to get another forward into the mix, although I am going to try to have them retain salary, and we'll see if that goes through. But I figured, hey, you know what? Let's at least get somebody to replace Laferriere, and rejected for that. Let's add a little bit more. Come on, take this deal. Here, you know what? Even better. Even better. How about a nice low 9 for free? Come on, really? Then fine, whatever. Don't retain. Oh, it's so stupid. Yeah, because teams just love to not retain on guys on expiring deals. There you go. Take the deal for Andrew Kopp. Thank you very much. And they also had Mason Appleton for Dvorak, or Dvorak, whatever you prefer. How good is he? 76 to 21. Hey, he's not bad. We'll actually keep him. We'll keep him. The other guy was a medium 7th. That was fair to get rid of. So the final look then, I'll keep you guys here with me because, well, this deadline is almost done. Is there anybody else, instead of just robbing the AI of all their top prospects? Cody Ceci for Teuvo Teravainen. We're going to hold on to Ceci. It's too easy to just immediately get rid of all the bad contracts on the team, And it's those defensemen, as we know. Oh, Carolina, Chatfield. I mean, if we get him, we don't really have anywhere for him to play. I think that's probably a Morgan Frost. For Edmondson, don't want to get rid of Edmondson yet. Can I get Joe Veleno? No, I cannot. So I think we're probably done, but we actually did end up doing a little bit more than expected. I feel bad about that Laferriere trade, but it's the rights to Jason Robertson starting next year. That's just such a big improvement. Nick Schmaltz for Nikishin a second. We'll say no to that. I like Nick Schmaltz a lot, but we got to see what Nikishin can do. Can we get Gino? No, we cannot. And time is almost up. Can we get Liam O'Brien? No, we cannot. So I imagine time is going to expire on us before we find another deal. One more look here. Jaden Schwartz. Nope. And what about Freddie Gaudreau? All right. So, Jason Robertson acquired. Andrew Kopp picked up as well. I mean, it's okay. That's the only way I really know how to describe it. I don't know what to make of this team and what's going to happen for us now moving forward post-deadline. But picking up Kopp, Nikishin, Robertson, and in reality, I mean, the only piece I regret trading away is Laferriere. I mean, we did pretty well for ourselves bargain hunting, as the Islanders ended up trading Cole Eiserman anyway for Shane Gostisbehere, which, again, it's fine if the AI does it. I feel guilty if I'm trying to rob the AI blind for their prospects. Although I do wonder if Protas will be someone I regret not getting. 36, 29, and 13, but still not in the playoffs with 4 games left to go. Could even still win the division title at this rate, but we've been pretty decent. The status quo has been there despite the roster technically taking a hit. These are the lines that we have been going with. Fiala, Byfield, Kempe, of course. I thought about splitting them up, but I think it's fine. Although, you know what? One more push for Green Tree might not be the worst idea in the world. You know, he does do well. How does Kempe still has just 19 goals. I'm not saying I'm regretting that contract. I'm despising myself for signing that contract. We look at Andrew Kopp and what he's done since. 4 points in 16 games. He's been fine. Atu Yamsen was just given a chance. He and Chromiak have been given opportunities just to see what the hell they could do. And then defensively, at least Nikishin and Drew Doughty is a really solid pairing. Nikishin has 10 points in 16 games. So thank you very much to the Carolina Hurricanes for ruining your relationship with him. Ingram's still looking good. Slavinsky's gotten a couple games in as the backup. He's also been doing all right. So if we make the playoffs here, cool. If we don't, also cool. I mean, at least we'll have a higher draft pick. You know, it's not going to be top notch or anything like that, but and with 2 wins in a row, it certainly looks like this team is going to make the playoffs. Maybe something crazy can happen. You never know with the sim engine in this game. We have dropped just 1 point, and yeah, 1 point out of those 4, we have made the playoffs, and we'll be taking on the Anaheim Ducks in the first round. Not bad. Another playoff trip for the Kings with, again, those 39 wins. Worth noting, the Colorado Avalanche have won the President's Trophy while the Calgary Flames were terrible. The biblically accurate Calgary Flames, apparently. In terms of how we did production-wise this season, Fiala did lead the way on 76 points, but again, just could not score at the same rate he did last year. 68 points for Byfield, 67 for Kempe. Deno, Fogle did well. Green Tree, we'll see if 43 points is enough for the Calder. I'm not holding my breath on that. And then we'll see. I mean, Yamsen's definitely going to be in over Chromiak at this point. Defensively, 58 points for Brant Clark is great. Anderson and Doughty did okay. I mean, Doughty really did switch to like full-on defensive defenseman. And Nikishin with 11 points in 20 games. I don't understand how Carolina wouldn't have been playing him. And then Connor Ingram, again, you get an 80, 81 overall goalie. It's pretty much all you need in this game, really. It is kind of an indictment, but it is what it is. From a forward perspective, league-wide, McKinnon leads the way in terms of scoring. Then you got McDavid and Natchez. And you remember earlier, I forgot to mention this, by the way, because of the excitement of making the playoffs. Remember how I mentioned, also shout out to Nathan McKinnon scoring 80 goals, apparently. Remember when I mentioned that this was delayed a couple of times because signings kept happening? And I'm like, oh, yeah, I can wait. I'm good to go now. Yeah, the Senators just re-signed Shane Pinto. So, note to self, never going to be able to have things be as up-to-date as I want them to be. But hey, we'll see what the Ottawa Senators look like with Shane Pinto full-time in the next challenge that we do. In terms of the rookie race, Michael Hansen. I think he was the one generated dude, right, from the first-year draft. I don't even know if he's generated or not. Green Tree would have won it over Danila Yurov, although he might have been disqualified for the -2, and it could have gone to Berkeley Catton. It'd be very interesting had Hansen not been there, but he is going to win Rookie of the Year. So let's take a look here, not only at our lines before we start this series, but also at what the Ducks might have going on here with a 44-win roster, but because of 14 Bettman points with overtime losses or shootouts, we ended up doing okay. So that late push for Green Tree, I don't know. I mean, Fiala is a playmaker, but he's not really. I mean, God, we could push Deno up to center. I mean, if Fiala and Byfield are that strong together, what if we just do something stupid? And hopefully nobody gets mad about it in terms of like the in-game players. What if we do like Fiala, Kopp, and Kempe and see if that can help open things up for Kempe and Fiala to score a little bit more? We'll put Byfield with Moore and Yamsen. Give that a shot. Fogle, Deno, Green Tree, Stranges, Bouchon, Gushchin. try to spread the wealth a little bit, right? This lineup isn't too crazy, and as a matter of fact, we should swap Deno and Kopp. That's an obvious one. But, try to spread the wealth a little bit, see what happens, mix and match some player types, and see if anything helps. Slakinski's jumped up to an 81, so it might actually try to start him in this series. I do want to give Ingram the chance, but that is some good development on his part. In terms of the Ducks, Gauthier, McTavish, and Terry, Kreider, Carlson, Granlund, Kalorenstrom, Seneca, Pastujov, McQueen, and Vetrano. The defense is Lacombe and Minchikov, Ferraro and Zellweger, and Ian Moore alongside Tristan Luneau. Goaltender is Lukas Dostal, Billy Husso as the backup. No crazy scratches, really. So it's a good team. It's a good team. They're better than us on paper, I would say. But we could win this series. And yes, by the way, Knobloch ended up being our head coach because, of course, first year free agency period, all that. It just dumps a bunch of good coaches because the AI don't re-sign them for some reason. Figure that out. Game 1. First period, and look at Mr. Greentree. He is a playoff performer, to say the least, and shout out to the Hurricanes for Nikishin. 3-0 Los Angeles at the end of 1, and that score holds the rest of the way. A 32-save shutout for Connor Ingram. The 2 goals for Greentree, and a phenomenal way to start off this series. No complaints. How could I possibly have any complaints in this California-based battle? I do need to make sure Ingram's the goalie. I wanted to not and just save time. Okay, good. He is still the goalie. I just had a hunch it would put Slakinski in as the guy. Game number 2, I am fully expecting a loss. Let's see what happens. First period, 1-1, Seneca and Greentree. This kid could be insane. Second period, 2-1, Trevor Moore. Third period, make it 3-1, Quinton Byfield. And we have a 2-0 series lead, successfully defending home ice, as Ingram allows just 1 in the course of those 2 games. I mean, I'm still, wondering what we might have been able to do had we not played the future game with J-Rob, but that's okay. We go to game number 3. We're not changing anything. A .980 save percentage for Ingram so far. First period, 2-0 Kings, Andrew Kopp, Trevor Moore. Second period, 5-0 Dumoulin, Kopp, and Fiala. And the game ends 5-1. A power play goal from Ryan Strome. The Los Angeles Kings have a 3-0 series lead on the in-state rival Anaheim Ducks. Aha. The series isn't over until it's over. Game 4, first period, goal apiece, Pastujov and Brisson. Second period, there it is, finally, Anaheim. Kreider and Terry. And we did get a goal back in the third, but McTavish also scored. So, Ducks avoid the sweep with a 4-2 win. That's why I don't get too excited anymore about 3-0 series leads. We have seen way too many comebacks in our time on this channel. Way too many comebacks. Game number 5. Number 5, as the Ontario Reign have been eliminated from the Calder Cup playoffs. First period is goalless. Second period is not. Philip Danault makes it 1-0. And the Los Angeles Kings get the gentleman's sweep over the Ducks. Quinton Byfield seals the deal. It's another shutout for Connor Ingram. Played out of his skull in this series. And we march on in fairly convincing fashion. Honestly, Ingram was so stellar. Greentree, I mean, look at this. This was by committee. Adrian Kempe didn't score a goal. We won. You know what? We won. I'm not going to be too upset about it. We won. Defensively, Clark, Nikishin, it's great to have 2 defensemen that can put up points. And then goaltending-wise, an outstanding round from the now 30-year-old Connor Ingram. Tremendous. So it is unfortunately looking like it's going to be the Oilers in round number 2. The Avs have already advanced. Kraken do force game 7. I mean, let's be honest. We kind of know who we'd prefer here. I don't even need to look at the rosters. We know who we'd prefer. We're running out of excuses. The Seattle Kraken have eliminated the Edmonton Oilers. Oh my goodness. Kraken versus Kings in the second round. We avoid McDavid. We avoid Leon Draisaitl. We avoid the best of them all, Isaac Howard. Boy, he really was right to strong-arm the Lightning and say, no, I'm too good too early. The Seattle Kraken look like this. Jared McCann, Chandler Stevenson, and Shane Wright, Jaden Schwartz, Matty Beniers, and Patrick Laine. I do think Seattle would be a good fit for Laine. Andrei Kuzmenko with Berkeley Catton and Capo Kakko. Eli Tolvanen. They love their Finns. Frederick Gaudreau and Yanni Niemann. The defense is Vince Dunn and Adam Larson, Riker Evans, Brandon Montour, Matt Grzelcyk, and Mr. Michael Kesselring. Goaltenders Joey Daccord and Nicholas Coco. They love their Finns. Tanner Pearson and P.O. Joseph as the healthy scratches. God, remember when P.O. Joseph looked so damn promising. A ghost of roster editing's past. It is game number 1 against the Kraken. Let's see what we have here. First period, and Greentree, he's so good. Second period, oh my God. Kopp, Fiala, and Stranges. Montour gets 1. And your Los Angeles Kings take game 1 by the score of 8-1. Just a rout of a first game. The hat trick for Kevin Fiala. By God. And what a performance again for Ingram. Nice to see Kevin Fiala show up. We know he has that scoring touch. We've seen it already, though. He can be very inconsistent. But we're averaging the second most goals for per game now in the playoffs as we go to game number 2. First period is goalless. Second period is not. It's Byfield and Laine. And then in the third, Seattle takes it. Okay, Beniers and then the empty netter for Chandler Stevenson. So we lose on home ice for the first time this postseason. Another great game for Ingram. We can't blame him. But still don't like to see that as we are now at a 1-1 split. Heading to Seattle. Game 3, I'm not changing anything about this team. I think I'd be ridiculous to do so, don't you? First period, goalless. Second period, not goalless. Seattle has a 2-1 lead. Greentree does get a goal back late. Third period, we're going to overtime for the first time this postseason, primarily thanks to Quinton Byfield. In OT1, we win it. Brian Dumoulin scoring goals this postseason. Let's go. Biddeford's own Brian Dumoulin, if I'm not mistaken. And we have a 2-1 series lead. Not too shabby. Let's go to game 4. We're changing nothing. This team is either going to make it or they're not. 1-1 at the end of the first, Trevor Moore. Still 1-1 at the end of the second. Still 1-1 at the end of the third, and the Kraken take it in overtime. Patrick Laine. Phenomenal game for Joey Daccord. I can't even be mad. And that is now twice that we have failed to get separation on Seattle. It is a best of 3 from this point on. Fair play. First period of game 5. Okay, this isn't going to be a great game for the goalies, apparently. Kuzmenko and Kesselring scored 58 seconds apart. Not even, excuse me, 1 minute and 2 seconds. I can't do math, it's late. Greentree, Moore, Byfield, and Fiala. Second period, the Kraken tie it. Third period, we're going to overtime for the third straight game, and the Seattle Kraken are 1 win away from going to the next round. We lose this series, it's going to be the feeling of like, okay, we let that get away from us. I think we are the better team here. Winner will likely play Colorado in the finals. The New Jersey Devils have already made their way to the Eastern Conference final. Backs against the wall. I do think we need to look at doing something. Ingram has been phenomenal. However, very hit or miss the last 3 games. He's still going to stay in, though. I mean, we don't have a choice. He's the guy. Defensively, It's got to be, I mean, that third pairing is honestly doing okay. I mean, maybe not in this series exactly. Stranges has a goal. Brasson's got some points. Gushchin's got some points. Green Tree's been outstanding. Yamsen's got 7 points. I mean, we found the big issue. $10.75 million. And Adrian Kempe does not have a goal in this series. We are going to swap sniper for sniper with the hot hand in Green Tree and see what he can do. It's a little bit risky to break up Green Tree from Foegele and Kopp, but we need to win, right? Pretty straightforward. We need to win. Our season is on the line here. Game 6. Let's see what happens. First period, 2-1. Nikishin and Green Tree, the goals. Second period, goal apiece. Green Tree again. He's so good. Third period, the Kraken have tied it. We go back to overtime. One more time. Season on the line. Kraken score, and this series is over. And there it is. Jared McCann ends our season in 6 games. It's tough to feel bad about it because of where we were at the deadline. But I do think that series got away from us. Do I think we were going to beat Colorado? Absolutely not. But we could have won that. We should have won that. I don't know. I feel like we had the team to do it. Liam Greentree. Oh my God. Oh my God. Liam Greentree he's that dude. He is absolutely that dude. In terms of what happens, though, this postseason, right? Like, what happens with Warren Foegele? Power forward, didn't score any goals, only took 17 shots, right? Like, we know Kopp was probably a rental, but maybe not. Like, maybe as a third-line center, Kopp's not that bad. We know the Philip Deneau's deal is up. What happens with Kempe? At least the Nikishin signing looked great. Maybe Drew Doughty's back as a third-pairing guy if he doesn't retire. We definitely have some questions, and Connor Ingram is signed through next year at $1.7 million, so I'm not upset about that. But I am upset because I really do feel like we had that series won. All right, well, hey, I don't know if that paused or not. Will I remember to edit this out? Maybe. The Devils of New Jersey have won the Stanley Cup in our second season. They made it past Montreal, and then did they get revenge on the Avalanche for 2001? No, they didn't. Oh, my God. If Seattle could beat Colorado in 6, we might have been able to go on a miracle run. We might have. We could have gotten another showdown, Kings and Devils in the final. I gotta be honest. I have a feeling we just missed out on a potentially very special run. I think that could have been the year. We just kind of slipped up a bit too much against Seattle. Damn. Well, in terms of awards, Edmonton and New Jersey, your cup winners so far. McKinnon wins the Art Ross and the Hart. Makar wins yet another Norris. Calder does go to Hansen. Conn Smythe to Jack Hughes. The Vezina to Mackenzie Blackwood. The Trouba winning the Masterton. Muse wins the Jack Adams in Pittsburgh. Crosby the Selke. McKinnon the Ted Lindsay Award and the Rocket Richard. In the AHL, it was the Coachella Valley Firebirds taking home the Calder Cup, with Pierre Engvall being the top point getter. Sopovaliv, I believe, was your league MVP. Carter Bear was the top goal scorer. Eklund, the top rookie. Dennis Cholowski, top defenseman. Philip Grubauer, best goaltender. And Raykop, the MVP of the Calder Cup. There you go. Season 2 in the books. I still feel pretty good about where we are. Even if, again, I have some regrets. The Carolina Hurricanes have actually gone on to win the draft lottery, so maybe they'll get their Nikishin replacement pretty soon. Anze Kopitar has retired. It took the 1 extra year for it to go into effect. Corey Perry is also gone, and then obviously the production really starts to fall off from there. Defensively, Yossi is gone. Letang, Suter. Drew Doughty, though, sticks around. And Jonathan Quick has also retired. And we will get to this draft here. A couple players that are now scouts, no big deal. And that brings us to the 2027 entry draft. Let's see what we have here. Can we make any notable moves? Is the question. We got the 19th pick and then 3 picks for the rest of this draft. But obviously the big thing here is, can we re-sign Jason Robertson? In terms of goalies, I mean, we got nothing to do, right? Pickard's not going to be worth anything. Slakinski and Ingram are going to be our tandem for next year. Defensively, Nikishin's going nowhere. CC is still not going to go anywhere yet. Again, I only like to trade the bad deals if they're heading into their last year. So Dumoulin, Edmondson, these guys could go. If we can find a deal. Teamu here. Okay, he's a medium 6. We might actually keep that guy. Who else has some value? Voracek. And there's a couple of people that have a little bit of value here and there, but nothing too crazy. Is there a deal for Edmondson? Apparently there would be. 2 third-round picks from Detroit is pretty nice. Shout out to Emmett Finney as well. But the 2 third-round picks is what I'm most interested in. And again, like, it's a third pairing guy. If we trade Edmondson, that opens up space for Doughty to stay. We do not need Jari. I feel like we'd be pretty dumb not to take this, and I feel like it's fair to move someone in the last year of their deal. 2 third-round picks, the 84th overall this year, and a third-rounder next year from Detroit for Joel Edmondson. And then Brian Dumoulin. Detroit's interested in him, too. A 3rd and a 5th. A 2nd and Florian Jackeye from Montreal. I'd feel bad for taking Jackeye, but a 2nd rounder for Brian Dumoulin right now is just too damn good. Is there a prospect we can sub out for Florian Jackeye of equal value? I just don't want to take him. Well, then again, Arbor's not even on the team anymore, right? Yeah, never mind. I don't feel bad about it at all. Brian Dumoulin is off to Montreal. That, again, is just a no-brainer. That clears out a good amount of cap, gets rid of some of those contracts for some of the, okay, defensemen, and still leaves us with, again, even if, Nikishin and Cece's our 2nd pair next year, it's not that bad. It leaves room for Doughty to come back, to stay with Nikishin on the 2nd pair, maybe Cece's on the 3rd pair with Dvorak. It's not that bad, really. Maybe I'm just trying to convince myself. But Cece's not going to go anywhere. He still has 2 years left at this stage. Right wing side. Kempe, goddamn. Fogle has that expiring deal. He's showing up as an 89 right now. You know he's not actually that good. But he did develop Send It, I think, which is nuts. Maybe it was tape to tape. 3rd rounder. 2 third rounders. Or we try to keep him as Landon DuPont. Yeah, no kidding. Carolina was going to get the replacements. Oh, my God. Oh, no kidding. Okay. If we deal Warren Fogle, I mean, again, he's good. 2 third-round picks is nice, given that we didn't check to see how much it was going to cost us to keep him. Is he showing up as a 2nd liner again? He is. And the problem is we have so many left-handed shots. Fiala, Kempe, Greentree. I don't see us keeping Fogle, especially after that performance from Greentree. I just don't think we have room in our top 6. So we are going to move Warren Fogle here. And getting 2 third-round picks for a pending UFA is a pretty good deal. We can send him to New Jersey, or we could send him to Winnipeg. So it's a no-brainer. We will get 2 third-round picks from the Devils for the expiring contract of Warren Fogle, who we just don't really have space for anymore, really. So I hate to kind of break up this team a little bit, but again, Fiala's a lefty. Robertson's a lefty. We just don't have room. Trevor Moore has a year left after this. I think he's still a 3rd liner. He is. He's not a bad 3rd liner to have. 2nd round pick from Carolina. 2nd round pick from technically Columbus. All right, so primarily centering around a 2nd rounder is what we could do for Trevor Moore. But I like Trevor Moore. as a third liner. I think that's a damn good player to have. Robertson's fine. Stranges is on an expiring deal. He's an RFA. He's not really worth that much, though. Is he? Fourth rounder? Ooh, third rounder. Third rounder to Edmonton. Done deal. Fine by me. Antonio, get out. Sihar, I think it is. He's got some value as a medium 9. I honestly wasn't expecting this much roster turnover, but it makes sense. Can we get anything for Brisson? Fifth rounders. I mean, Brisson, do I want to keep you as a fourth liner? I mean, you're a playmaker. I really don't like my fourth line being playmakers. Let's send him to the New York Rangers. Back to the Rangers for a 5th round pick. That works. Honestly, is there anybody else we can get rid of here? We'll come back and double check here. But for centers, Edwards, we know that Deno's deal is coming due. Could get a 3rd round pick as Alexei Joseph goes second to the Calgary Flames. We were never going to be able to trade up anyway, so it's fine. Do we deal Philip Danault, or do we plan on keeping him? At best, it is a 3rd round pick from the New York Islanders. The problem is, if I get rid of Danault, we really don't have another guy at center. Like Byfield, Danault, Kopp at center is fine, but none of these guys on the wing can switch over and play center. So I think we're gonna have to hold on to Danault just for a little bit of security and comfort here. And then we got a lot of these medium 9 options that are maybe worth something, but also maybe not, right? That feels like it's probably nickel and diming. Highest we can move up right now is 9th overall with Ottawa. Is there anything to be done there? Nikishin a 3rd, and yeah, I mean, obviously that's not going to happen. Okay. When the starting price is Nikishin, that's not happening. Then we have the Islanders, the Rangers, and the Panthers. If we wanted to try to move up again, what do the Islanders got for us? Nothing. What do the Rangers have for us? Green, no shot. You see Green Tree, and you go away. And then the Florida Panthers, nothing. Okay, so yeah, we'll just be keeping our pick and making our pick. So 19th overall. Eklund Osp is off the board. So let's see who's available to us here. Unfortunately, our scouts didn't do too well. We also didn't have that many. Good old Titan. There's Nolan Fitzhenry, Lucas Kochlier, Louis Carlson, Rone Kukasjärvi. Kazda, who's McGregor? Caden McGregor, Luka Jarvis, Jonah Neuenschwander. I mean, it does just feel like best guess. We could go for Schaefer Gordon Carroll because at least he's got a player picture. Esquahogan. Cohen Esquahogan. At least there's a couple of options. You know, I mean, given that's the case, if we were to trade down, what could we get? What could we get? 19th overall. 2nd and a 3rd. Brian Rust and 2 fourths. Mason Marchment, a 2nd and a 3rd. I guess we're making the pick. Well, is there anybody that we like with said pick? Again, our scouting department is just cooked. So, I mean, we're just kind of taking people based off of vibes. We could take a 5'7" right defenseman. When in doubt, go with the Finn, right? But, let's see, a playmaking center or an offensive right defenseman. I mean, we do need centers, right? We do really need centers. There's a couple above him, including Titan Lafournier. And Carlson as well as McGregor. Let's go off the board. Schaefer Gordon Carroll. Why not? You got a fun name. 73 medium 6. He's fine. He's fine. Yeah, Bartas was 1 point better. Same potential. Fitzhenry was a little bit better. Yeah, okay. We did all right. We really couldn't have asked for too much more. So I'll see if we can make a deal with Winnipeg or Dallas, but for the most part, that should be it for us in terms of like major moves here at this draft. I might trade a couple of those other like medium 9 guys. I'll see if they're worth anything. But yeah, like Trevor Moore and 2/3 for the 24th. We want to keep Trevor Moore. I still think we can be relatively competitive. But all in all, a look at the first round, at least the guys at the tippy top I had Marchenko, Agostino, Bouchard, Pelosi, Probatal heading to Vegas, which means he'll get traded within 3 years. Brock Cripps is a Shark. They finally get that defense. Can you imagine if the Sharks got Matthew Schaefer with how good that kid is? Oh my God. I just any opportunity I have to say that, hey, Matthew Schaefer, he's a beast, I'll take that opportunity. All right, season 3 with your Los Angeles Kings about ready to begin. Let's go over the changes with the roster. Free agent-wise, again, nothing really too crazy for us. I don't like spending big money in free agency in this game, but this is what we're dealing with. Jason Robertson has indeed signed, and he was very thankful to sign because he gave us, I would argue, a bargain of a contract at $9.25 million over 6 years, which does not include a no-movement clause this year, because obviously last year was his last RFA season, ended up rolling over or whatever the hell. So we have Jason Robertson tradable if we care to trade him, which is great. He'll be centered by Quentin Byfield, who, of course, is just an absolute beast at this stage. And, man, after that playoff performance, come on, man, Liam Greentree has got to be on the top line. Super excited to see what he can do this season. Second line is Kevin Fiala with the returning Philip Deneau. It's not the best scenario in the world. I think if we prove that we're good, we could get another center at the trade deadline and move Deneau down. But we did sign him to an $8 million contract just to be able to get him back and take up a little bit of salary cap because we had a lot open. But there's also no clause attached to that as well, so that's good. And Adrian Kempe on his right. Score some goals, man, please. Third line, Trevor Moore is back. He's not going to be overly happy about being a third liner. Or I don't really have much of a choice, though. I mean, because nobody else really plays center. Andrew Kopp on the third line. He's back as well. We had to give him a no-movement clause to get the salary down. It's not a big deal. And then Kasperi Kapanen is here just to be a filler player. Brought him in case some of our younger guys didn't really step up, and that was indeed the case. We'll see what Kapanen can do. He's signed for pretty cheap, so not a bad deal there. And then the fourth line, we brought in Paul Cotter, who, in fairness, we could swap with Kapanen to keep him a little bit happy, but, you know, fourth line grinder. Nico Sturm, who is a face-off wizard for that fourth line, 89 face-offs and all-star quick draw. And then Cole Smith, who likes to hit people, so that's good. And a matter of fact, since I brought it up, what if we do... Hey, there we go. We got a +1. Cool. We'll have Cotter on the right. Actually, we might even have Trevor Moore on the right just because he might have a better shot than Cotter. But, yeah, if we had anybody here, Kempe, Fiala, Robertson, who could play center, I'd probably move Deneau down for Trevor Moore, but we can't do it. Defensively, Mikey Anderson is alongside Brant Clark, who's up to a 92. Outstanding. Second pairing, Nikishin is back. Of course, final year of his deal, so that's going to be an expensive one, I'm sure. Drew Doughty returns for one more season, $5.4 million with the no-movement clause, so he'll be here all year. And then Jakub Dvorak, well, again, it's Dvorak, but we'll go with Dvorak, has made the team. That was not the initial plan. He'll be alongside Cody Ceci. The initial plan was Brendan Dillon. But I figured if Dvorak's going to get better, then we might as well just play him over Dillon, and then we could look to move Dillon at the deadline. Also, backup goalie Evgeny Volokin and Daniil Gushchin. I want to see if I can deal either of those two first before we risk sending them down, because our goaltenders are Hampton Slakinski alongside Connor Ingram, because Connor Ingram earned that spot last year, no doubt. In the AHL... as you can see, guys like Raleigh and Pielstrom. Raleigh was a third-round pick this past year at a medium elite. He's 20, though. And Pielstrom, the low elite, was a third-rounder as well. Actually, 6 picks before. So a couple of guys in the mix there, but the vast majority of these dudes are medium 9 forwards. We don't have that big go-to forward prospect right now. Defensively, a lot of medium 6s, except for Henry Brustowitz at a medium 4. He almost made the team. He'll probably take Drew Doughty's spot if Doughty retires, right? Or, in fairness, this is probably Cody Ceci's last year here, too. Petri Rimpinen, the primary goalie. Hellberg, just because we like Finns. And a couple of scratches, just of guys who weren't quite good enough. High bottom 6s, stuff like that. Or lower overall medium 9s. So, Hopefully, someone like Trevor Moore isn't too upset being on the third line when he wants to be a second liner. Hopefully, some things go our way here. Volokin actually does have some good trade value. I can't get rid of Connor Ingram after what he did last year. I just can't do it. We can get a third-round pick from the Florida Panthers and a prospect named Vaughn. I don't know anything about you. Medium bottom 6. Parker Vaughn. Oh, okay, well, there you go. I mean, I've at least heard of you from the draft. Sure. Let's take the deal. We'll get rid of Volokin. We'll bring in Parker Vaughn. That's fine. Might upset a couple people, of course. And then Daniil Gushchin, who is a sniper, so I don't really want him in the bottom 6. I do like more of the physical options, and we do get offers for him. Joe Aginla's out there. We could go for Joe Aginla. I don't hate that. Younger version of the guy. 5th-round pick, a lot of medium 9s. Yeah, I mean, Joe Aginla hasn't been drafted yet, IRL. So why wouldn't we go for him? Another 3rd-round pick, former 3rd-round pick at least. Daniil Gushchin out for Joe Aginla. Why not? Works for me. The Stars organization, very good at apparently moving Aginlas, I suppose. But with that, I think we are good to go. Hopefully people aren't going to be too upset. Hopefully people can play well as we just kind of continue to see where we are. But I mean, the addition of Jason Robertson and everything else, I'd like to think we're going to be okay. It might look like I just didn't make a cut in time. No, I'm just waiting for you to notice. Okay. 44, 12, and 3 for the Los Angeles Kings. 91 points through 59 games, man. First in goals for, second best or second lowest goals against average, only behind the Florida Panthers. 10th best power play, 3rd best PK. Sometimes you just get the combination right. What more can you say? This is a look at the team. Jason Robertson, 20 goals, which is a bit low, but 44 assists. 19 and 39 for Byfield. Greentree, 26 goals, 20 assists. Second line, Fiala, 28 and 22. Deno, 18 and 24. And 11 and 31 for Kempe, because of course. But third line, Cotter, 16 goals for Paul Cotter. 12 and 9 for Andrew Kopp. 11 and 29 for Trevor Moore. And on the fourth line, Cole Smith, 8 and 7. 20 points for Nico Sturm. And 16 points for Kapanen. Like, do I dare bring in another center and mess with this? Or do we just stick with Philip Deneau? That's at 2C. And then defensively, it gets more ridiculous. Mikey Anderson has 18 points. 52 assists, 7 goals for Brant Clark. He now has elite send it. I don't know if he did at the beginning of the season, but he does now. Nikishin, 43 points. He's going to be so expensive. Drew Doughty, 30 points at age 38. Dvorak, 6 points and 9 for Cody Ceci. And in goal, Slakinski, a 9.22 and a 9.15 for Ingram behind him. The temptation, and we claimed Alec Regula on waivers just to have somebody. The temptation to make changes is insane, right? As you got to look at how some of the AHL overalls might have changed as the season's gone on. The temptation to make changes, it's insane because it's like, oh, we have a good team. Let's make them even better. But it could make it worse. And that's the problem, right? Like, do we make a change if, in theory, maybe the team ends up being worse? And I don't have the answer to that because it's quite obvious. Somebody like a Adrian Kempe is suffering immensely being on that second line. Immensely. But we're winning. We just shut out the Panthers, then we got shut out by the Rangers. We can ignore that. This team is still so weird. So weird. Expiring deals. Philip Deneau's deal's up at the end of the year. He is looking for a big old pay cut. honestly, he's worth keeping next year. I think we give him a no movement clause. We get this price down. Actually, we could probably do it later, though, right? Maybe. I might be wrong. But I imagine that overall will drop and we can get him for even cheaper. But he's a perfect bottom 6 guy. Nikishin. He is a pending UFA. But with the way he is performing right now, I'm hitching my wagon to this guy. Right? Like, if we can use him and a certain right-handed defenseman that the Kings don't seem to like IRL, but I seem to like very, very much, and Brant Clark. I mean, 8.5, 6 years, full no movement clause. We'll see if he takes that. I mean, I might see if there's a move for him at the deadline. Trevor Moore. I should have done that earlier, but it's fine. Trevor Moore is looking for about $5 million. That's a bit much for a third liner, but it's not awful. Okay. Let's see what we can do at this deadline. Do we even bother doing anything? I don't know. I am afraid to mess with this. Tyler Bertuzzi is the best player available. Then there's Thomas Chabot. Before we even consider buying, we do have a first-round pick this year. Is there anybody that we might want to move in terms of, hey, maybe get some assets, make something happen, that type of thing, right? Theoretically, if we were to move Nikishin, Dylan Guenther, that's just another sniper though, right? Yeah, it's another sniper. It doesn't make sense. So yeah, we're definitely going to be looking to keep Nikishin, and hopefully he'll take that extension, right? Hopefully. Outside of that, Cody Ceci isn't allowed by my own self-imposed rules to be moved until the draft. Drew Doughty can't be moved. Can we move Brendan Dillon just to do him a favor? Because he literally hasn't played all season, and he's not going to. Apparently, we could land a third-round pick. Again, I would love the draft pick more than actual established prospects. 3rd and a 6th from Edmonton. Yeah, like Charlie Stramel. Like, come on. That's too much. Too much for a guy that hasn't played all season long, right? 3rd and a 6th from Winnipeg. I guess we'll go Winnipeg, and we'll probably see Brendan Dillon in the playoffs. We'll see how many people even get mad about that, and nobody did. So there you go. Outside of that, like, Brustowitz isn't going anywhere. Carell's, of course, is getting better. Right wing side, Kempe can't go anywhere. There's really no reason to trade, like, Kasperi Kapanen right now, unless we were to get a replacement for Kapanen. And I think that might be the one move to make. Because, I mean, yes, 9 and 8, but only a +1, right? Like, that 4th line's not doing too much. So if we can get an upgrade on Kapanen, that's not too bad. But in terms of, like, big changes, I just don't see it. Did I sign Paul Cotter for more than 1 year? No, this is his only year. Which means he probably won't be back next year because he's going to get a nice little contract out of this. Okay. I know Andrew Kopp is actually doing pretty well on that 3rd line. How's Sturm doing on the 4th? Not too hot, but we know he's a face-off god. What are the offers for Todd Bertuzzi? Nikishin, Mikey Anderson, Todd Bertuzzi. I was playing some older NHL earlier. So, Thomas Chabot, we just do not have room for. I would do that in a heartbeat, though. In a heartbeat. But yeah, as a lefty, it's Nikishin or Chabot. We'll stick with Nikishin. Sean Monahan is not on an expiring deal, but Byfield, Monahan, Dano next year. It's not that bad, but he doesn't want to come here. His clause protected. Ricard Raquel would be very interesting to replace a certain Kasperi Kapanen. 1-3 Dvorak, CC, Carell. Oof. I don't want to get rid of Kapanen that badly. Wallstead, Tyler Toffoli. No deals. Marchman's making way too much. Montembeau is now in Columbus. I mean, in fairness, it is not a great market here at all, right? I mean, you can see who the big names are. Kevin Hayes? Dvorak. The fact that Dvorak is in that much demand makes me want to trade him even less. Tommy Novak. I think we just leave it at this point based off of what I'm seeing. I think we just leave this and we go for it. This team's been outstanding. Like, yes, on paper, could we make it better? Of course. You know, like we could, like, I don't, like a second and a fifth for Roslovic to replace Kapanen. Like, I think we just go for it. I think we accept this team for what it is. If they fall short, they fall short. I mean, man, we still have $15 million in cap space available, too. I mean, unless there's like something good we could trade Rally for, but it's like, I think those centers should be able to do fine. Like, why wouldn't I have faith in Philip Deneau right now? Like, he's crushing it. And we know he's still a really good face-off guy. What was the offer set for Rally? Monahan, Montembeault, and okay. I guess Monahan changed his mind. Fabra, Montembeault, Coyle. A second, Marilainen, and a second. Damn. Marilainen, and a second and a third. I mean, obviously bringing in Sam Montembeault for $8 million is absurd, but if we could find a trade and retain just to get something for him, Chaffee just kind of is what he is. I mean, Monahan for a fourth-line center is actually pretty good. Oh, but Rally should develop a little bit more at the end of the season. I think we're good. I think we're good. Ladies and gentlemen, let's be honest, mostly gentlemen, say hello to your 56-win, President's Trophy winning Los Angeles Kings. With a leading point getter of Jason Robertson on just 81 total points. One of the most bizarre teams I have constructed in any NHL ever to perform at this level. Couple of things to note after not doing anything at the deadline. This is what we were running with. So we already know Robertson, the 27 and the 54, 25 and 47 for Quentin Byfield. And then Liam Greentree hit 30 goals to unlock specialist quick release. So yeah, I love him. 32 goals for him this year. Fiala, 32 and 28. Philip Deneau, 54 points, which is great. Also had Quick Draw go up to the next level. And Adrian Kempe still exists. Quick release, Rocket, tape to tape. Almost $11 million a season. Oh boy. Had the same amount of goals as Paul Cotter. Andrew Kopp, 27 points, and then Trevor Moore, 16 and 32. Fourth line, Cole Smith, a really good 24 points. Nico Sturm on 28, and Kasperi Kapanen on 27. It was just by committee instead of like that one really key player that just took over. Mikey Anderson, not a big point getter, of course, but a plus 35 alongside Brant Clark, who put up 78 points. He's outstanding. But so is Alex Nikishin, who accepted that contract offer that we gave him. So very excited about that, and he has all-star tape-to-tapes. Nikishin's an absolute beast. Drew Doughty turned back the clock a little bit. That's a tremendous age 38 season. Dvorak, 8 points and a plus 8, and Cody Ceci was fine, too. And then in goal, Hampton Slakinski, a 917 as a rookie. He's up to an 84, and if he struggles in the playoffs, we can always turn right back to Connor Ingram. Luke Shen was also a waiver pickup post-deadline. He's on an expiring deal, and we had the money, so I figured, why not? So, yeah, needless to say, things are looking pretty good for us here, right? Right. Also getting, of course, some player development, some points here and there. Rally and Pihlstrom improving a bit defensively. Richard and Brustowitz are probably going to be ready for next season. And Petri Rimpinen also just lights out for the Ontario Reigns. So not only is the current roster performing well above expectations, but the AHL is still looking pretty good here too. Now, how we won 56 games with a leading point getter being under a point per game, I have no idea. But yet again, league scoring was just kind of down. I mean, McDavid, Matthews both did really well. Scheifele and Draisaitl, the only other two, over 100 points on the season. So figure that one out. I don't know what to make of it. Defensively, Makar and the Hughes brothers will be ahead of Brandt Clark, unfortunately. So I don't think Brandt's going to win the Norris, but the fact that he's even in the conversation is tremendous. Of course, he's not going to win the Norris. I don't want to tell him that, though. Goaltending-wise, Markstrom, the only other goalie with more wins than Slukinski this season, but... Oh, no, well, never mind. I guess Kevin Lankinen had one more shutout. That's a bummer. Save percentage-wise, Lankinen, Bobrovsky. Maybe we'll regret trading Yevgeny Volokhin. Maybe. And for the rookies, Dmitry Bachelnikov for Detroit is going to win the Calder over Gavin McKenna, and Roman Kantsarov also up there. So, not too bad. But with that, playoff time again. We're 3 for 3 in terms of making the postseason, which is kind of surprising. The question is whether or not we can keep up this momentum that we have had as we draw the Minnesota Wild. As you can see there, too, the season stats, second in goals for, third lowest goals against average. Our power play was kind of middling, but we had a great PK. And yeah, it will be the Minnesota Wild in the first round. I'm obviously not going to change anything about our lines right now. Why would I possibly want to do that? But Minnesota, with Kaprizov, Eriksson, Boldy, Danil Urov, Marco Rossi, Liam Ogren, Marcus Foligno, Nicola Waugh, Mike Amadio, Nico Hutanen, Tyler Seguin, and Beck Mallinston. Second round pick, Beck Mallinston. Not where he was taken, but traded for. Defensively, Jacob Middleton and Brock Faber, David Jiricek, and Ben Sherratt. Zeev Booyam with Damon Severson. Okay, they're pretty strong on the right. Goaltenders, Gustafsson and Jesper Wallstead, with Ryan Paling, Vigo Bjork, and Brandon Saad as healthy scratches. I'll be completely honest, I have no idea what to expect. I think there's a wonderful chance we could even be swept in the first round because, honestly, the regular season success feels a little bit fluky. We are off to a good start, though. A 1-0 lead, courtesy of a power play goal from Adrian Kempe. We outshot them 19-2, by the way. Now up 30-10, another power play goal. Liam Greentree. And, well, how do you like that? Adrian Kempe saving the goals for the postseason, apparently. We hold the Wild to just 16 shots. Utter domination of Minnesota. Slukinski's first ever postseason start as a 16-save shutout. And Adrian Kempe, again, hopefully has been saving those goals for the postseason. That would be incredibly helpful. So a really, really strong game for Philip Gustafsson. It just didn't matter. Gustafsson. Didn't matter. We'll see what happens in game number 2. In my God, I was going to say in which my God. Kempe on the power play. Greentree again. Paul Cotter. 3-0 Kings. Second period. Liam Greentree and Trevor Moore. The final score ends up being 6-2. Another goal for Adrian Kempe. And that is one hell of a way to defend home ice. Greentree and Kempe, just pure dominance over the first 2 games. Obviously, Trevor Moore, first star there in game 2. Sure, I'll take 9 goals in 2 games, but I'm surprised. I'm surprised. What about game number 3? I'm still hesitant to get my hopes up here. First period, 2-1 Minnesota, Eriksson, and Amadio. We get a goal from Kopp. Second period over. Third period. Byfield, Fiala, Greentree, Deno. 49 shots to 21 in a 5-2 victory. The LA Kings are 1 win away from going back to the second round. I got nothing. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. I know it's not the worst team in the world, but for this team to be performing to this level is crazy to me. First period of game 4, Greentree scores again. Second period, Eriksson Ek and Cotter. Third period, the Los Angeles Kings have swept the Minnesota Wild in the first round. Poor Gus, man. What more could you really want from a goalie? I mean, we were just killing them in the shot department. And we are one of just 2 sweeps. That also includes Winnipeg over Anaheim. Seriously, what the hell has gotten into this team? We have just found the right combination. Greentree and Kempe at least a goal per game. Greentree is obviously over the goal per game pace. Only players without a point were Nico Sturm, Cole Smith, Dvorak, and Doughty. Which makes sense. Even Cody Ceci got a point, for God's sakes. And Hampton Slukinski. I don't know anything about him except his name is phenomenal. What a player. And we are going to the second round to take on either Edmonton or Vegas, who are now tied at 2 wins apiece. Right. Vegas wins another 3-2. Will it be the Golden Knights? Yes, it will be. Okay, so Edmonton absolutely chokes. So the Ontario Reign move on, and we'll be playing the Vegas Golden Knights in the second round. We had 11 more wins than they did, which doesn't seem possible. With their lineup of Barbashev, Eichel, and Marner, Mark Stone with Tomas Hertl and Pavel Dorofeyev, Prab Batal with William Karlsson and Kevin Stenlund, Michael McCarron, David Tomaszek, and Trevor Connolly. Defense is Noah Hannafin, Braden McNabb, Ilya Lyubushkin, and Jeremy Lozon. John Marino with Shea Theodore because the AI prioritizes chemistry way too much. So, of course, they have Shea Theodore on the third pair. Goaltender Aiden Hill, not all that stellar in the first round, but was still good enough to get there. So, I mean, they're second in goals for per game, which means they just managed to outscore the Oilers. Out of that, Oilers goaltending let the team down again. Surprise, surprise. We have a 1-0 lead at the end of the first. Cole Smith scores. Andrew Kopp has a hat trick, and Liam Greentree scored again. 5-2 is your final score. 1-0 Kings. Playoff hat trick for Andrew Kopp. Okay. Game number 2. See what happens next. This has been ridiculous, man. First period, 2-0 Vegas, McCarron and Barbashev. Make it 4-0 Vegas, Hertl and Eichel. And there we go. A 4-0 shutout victory. Aiden Hill, phenomenal performance. And that is the kick in the teeth that we were waiting for. It just took 5 games to get there, as nobody had a particularly great night for game number 2. We'll go to Vegas. Game 3. First period, Trevor Moore gets a goal. Second period, Greentree. Oh my God. And in the third, Trevor Moore adds another one. We get the win 3-1 to take a 2-1 series lead. Slukinski, another really, really solid performance. Trevor Moore, I mean, he's kind of getting overshadowed by Greentree a little bit, but Trevor Moore has been outstanding. Absolutely outstanding in this postseason so far. As we go to game 4. First period, Kevin Fiala strikes. Second period, goal apiece. Kevin Fiala scored again. Third period, we let it slip away. 2-2. 2-2 after a 4-3 victory for Vegas. That has me worried a little bit. Gotta be honest. That I don't want to say this is kind of having the feeling of last year's series, but a little bit. Game 5. This feels like a must-win. First period, 3-0 Kings. Cotter, Byfield, and Robertson. Vegas back to within 2. But the LA Kings win it. Thank goodness. 3-2, the final score in Game 5. Slakinski's insane. Blomqvist came on in relief of Adin Hill and really kept them in it. But it did not matter. We have 2 opportunities to end this series. Game 6 is the first. Winner of this is likely to play Winnipeg. We don't know for sure. We do know that the Montreal Canadiens are going back to the Eastern Conference Final, though. Let's do this. Game 6, first period. Second period. Well, Kempe scored. We're going 7. When Vegas wins, they, 2 out of 3 times now, they've won in relatively easy fashion. Game number 7. I am not going to change anything about this team. They got this far. They deserve a chance to go out on their shield, if that happens. Green Street, Byfield, 2-0. Robertson made it 3-0. Stenlund and Eichel get him back into it. Oh, thank God. Trevor Moore, Adrian Kempe, and an empty netter for Brant Clark. The Los Angeles Kings. What a game for Brant Clark. We are going to the Western Conference Final to take on the Winnipeg Jets. It is LA, Winnipeg, Montreal, and Tampa as your Final 4 as we survive the scare and have really opened up the trend of just every year we seem to go one round further. Let's see if we can stop that from happening and end up in the Stanley Cup Finals here. Robertson and Greentree, just insane. I mean, Trevor Moore obviously has been great. Paul Cotter has been unbelievable. And then Brant Clark, has developed into everything we could hope that he would be. Connor Ingram, 2 appearances in relief. He has been really, really good. But for the moment, Slakinski is still our guy. We host the Winnipeg Jets, the 50-win Jets. Winner goes to the Stanley Cup Final. Kyle Connor, Mark Scheifele, Matt Zuccarello, Gabe Velarde, Braden Yeager, and Teuvo Teravainen. Evander Kane, back in Winnipeg. Colby Barlow and Alex Iafallo. Gustav Nyquist, Vladislav Namestnikov, and Cole Perfetti. Defense is Brendan Dillon. I made a joke about seeing him in the play. Yeah. Oh boy. With Neil Pionk, Josh Morrissey, Dylan DeMello, Dylan Sandberg, and Alphonse Freisch. Alphonse Crane Freisch. Goaltender Connor Hellebuck, who has in fact not hella sucked this postseason. Good Lord. Tim Thomas numbers there. Holy Tim Thomas numbers. Okay. I feel like we're in a bit of danger here. First period of game 1, 2-2. Cotter and Dvorak. God, we only had 5 shots, too. Second period. Caught Byfield Kapanen. Hella suck is back. And we win game 1, 5-4. Neither side's going to be all that inspired by the goals against count, but this time it's Cotter and Kapanen helping to lead the way. And that's exactly what you need, right? If your star players aren't going to be able to really have that impactful performance, can the secondary step up? And they did that time. Game 2, scoreless first period. 2 goals in the second, Nico Sturm and Kevin Fiala. And we blow it in the third, but we do not blow it in overtime. Kevin Fiala pushes us to within 2 wins of a Stanley Cup Finals appearance. Okay. Game number 4. If I'm not mistaken. Game number 3. Whoops. Well, there we go. First period. I was about to say let's get to game number 4 quickly because, 2-0 Winnipeg. Still 2-0 Winnipeg. And a late comeback charge from Moore and Fiala was not enough as the Jets get the win. Hellebuck, nice little revenge game for him. Unfortunately for me. And what's going on elsewhere? 3-0. Wow, so the winner's probably playing Montreal. Can we rob them of an all-Canadian final? Can we? Can we? It's game number 4. Not like this. I want a rematch of the 1993 Cup final, damn it. Second period, we get 2 back from Trevor Moore. Scheifele gives him the lead back, and the Winnipeg Jets have tied this series. Green Tree is back. You notice that Adrian Kempe has fallen off of a cliff. It is a best of 3 from here on out. 2 wins apiece so far. We'll check in a second to see if Montreal have indeed swept their way, and they have. I saw it in the top right even beforehand. Well, game 5. Best of 3 from here. Who will play Montreal for the Stanley Cup as Brant Clark gets a goal for us, but we are trailing. Mikey Anderson and Jason Robertson. Overtime. Well, that's not great. Oh, our backs are against the wall. Winnipeg wins either of these next 2 games. They will be the ones playing Montreal for the Cup. We have to win both of these games. Slakinski. It's been a rough majority of the games, right? 3 out of 5 sub 900 save percentage. We're going to Connor Ingram. In real life, I'd probably stick with Slakinski because we wouldn't want to shatter his confidence. But yeah, something's got to give. Honestly, defensively, I don't think there is much to change. Like, unless we wanted to do like Clark and Doughty, Anderson and Nikishin, which we could. Forward-wise, I wouldn't change anything about that 4th line. I'm kind of afraid to change that 3rd line with how good they've been. But that 2nd line has just totally run out of steam. Deno, at some point, has lost 2 X Factors worth of face-off winning ability. Robertson has just 4 goals this postseason. Damn, man. The sniper and power forward combinations are just continuing to really, really hurt. And if we lose Dano at the end of the year, we need a top 6 playmaker. Is the obvious thing. But for now, we don't have that. I can't imagine calling somebody up right now, but in theory, it would be like Kenny Connors who would get the call up right now. Yeah, we're not going to do that. I mean, obviously that top line needs to be changed. Fiala, Byfield, Greentree, Robertson, Deno, Kempe. Although, like I said, I'm hesitant to change up that 3rd line. They've been really good this postseason. It's game 6. Win or go home. I mean, we're going home regardless. It's just whether or not we're dragging Winnipeg with us. First period. So I was going to do the dramatic skip to the end of the postseason and the stats, and then we scored 4 goals in the second period after Evander Kane made it 5-0. All of this just to probably lose anyway. But this is a 1-goal game. This would be, as Kyle Connor makes it, back to our previously scheduled programming. A 56-win season ends in the Western Conference Final in 6 games, courtesy of the Winnipeg Jets. Damn. I mean, it's not too hard to look at where our problems were. Kempe and Robertson not scoring enough. Inexcusable to be getting outscored by the likes of Trevor Moore and even Kevin Fiala, who's supposed to be a playmaker, allegedly. Defensively, I don't really have too many complaints, let's be honest, right? Like, this was an amazing season for someone like Brant Clark. Connor Ingram, we gave you a chance, pal. We'll see you on the other side. This is Hampton's team now, even though I took the chance away from him when it mattered the most. The Montreal Canadiens, the Canadiens, have won the Stanley Cup in 6 games over the Winnipeg Jets. All right, well, that is 2 out of 3 cups off to Canada. We saw Edmonton win in Season 1. From Montreal, led by Suzuki, Demidov, Caulfield, Jeff Skinner. Defensively, Hudson, of course, Dobson, Reinbacher, and Gooley were able to stay healthy, apparently. And Jacob Fowler is the answer. Apparently not Dobesh. It's going to be Jacob Fowler who is the answer. As it goes, Edmonton, New Jersey, and Montreal. Individual awards, Connor McDavid wins the Art Ross and the Hart Trophy. The Norris goes to Luke Hughes. I'm shocked. It, again, plus-minus matters that much, apparently. Calder to Dmitry Buchelnikov. Nick Suzuki wins the Conn Smythe. Bobrovsky, the Vezina. Any other interesting ones here? Selke Trophy to Wyatt Johnston. Ted Lindsay to McDavid. Rocket Richard to Austin Matthews. In the AHL, it was the Belleville Senators becoming our 3rd different Calder Cup winner. Tanner Howe scored the most points. Brendan Brisson was league MVP. Cole Carson Rakoff. I don't remember. Top goal scorer, though. Penkin. Sounds like a 3-year-old that doesn't know how to say penguin correctly. He was the top rookie. Hamara, top defenseman. Carter Hart, your goaltender of the year. And Tyler Boucher was MVP of the playoffs. See, there you go. Not a bust. Calder Cup MVP. You just got to be a little bit more patient waiting for Tyler Boucher. I cannot believe we lost, man. Well, I would say it's on a plus side, but I don't think it is. Drew Doughty has not retired. I don't know if we can bring him back, though, with Brustowitz ready to go. I mean, unless we trade CC and go with Brustowitz and Doughty joining Clark on that right side. I mean, I guess we could. Not entirely sure what that situation is going to look like. But, yeah, no major retirements for us. That will bring us to head coach Victor Hedman, apparently, and noted scouts Brad Marchand and Noel Acciari. That will bring us to the draft where, again, I think we can at least look at our options before we go ahead with the rest of this offseason. We do have quite a few picks in this year's draft, thankfully, due to previous players moved. So goalie-wise, we won't be able to do anything except, Slikinski's our guy, right? Defensively, can we, in fact, move Cody Ceci? A 2nd and a 3rd from Colorado, Matthew Olivier, Kulkasjärvi in a 7th, Sharkovsky in a 3rd, Prokhorov, Marchment, the 29th overall pick from Tampa, a goalie named Price, Carlson in the 4th, and the 31st pick from Winnipeg. Oh, I mean, now is the time we could get rid of the CC deal. I mean, how good is Kulkasjärvi? I don't know. Another defenseman would be the worst thing in the world. 2027 first-round pick. Another right-handed shot, though, We're already kind of questioning how we're going to make this happen. Granted, he would directly replace Cody Ceci in the line that we have going off. Prospect-wise, we then need to look at Tampa, Winnipeg, and the Islanders. So let's look at Montreal here. Sharkovsky. Yeah, he's good. I don't necessarily want to take him from them. Let's look at the Islanders here and who they were giving up. Of course, Schaefer's a beast. Daniil Prokhorov was also a real-life pick of the Islanders. And Tampa was giving up Price, 2026 fifth rounder. Not going to happen, though. Not going to happen. And Winnipeg with Carlson. Ooh, he does have Unstoppable. 24th overall pick. Sniper, like, God, do we need another sniper in the mix, you know? I don't think we do. I don't think that we do. Well, no denying Cody Ceci's getting traded anyway. Like, we have the ability to move him. Now is the right time. Let's keep our options open, though. We'll get the 29th overall pick from the Tampa Bay Lightning. Quick and easy. And, again, Brusewitz is right there to replace him. And I don't think any of these other guys really have all that much value attached to them, Drew Doughty included. Right wing side, Green Tree is now more valuable than Kempe. Oh my God. Pielstrom, Vanek, again, like none of these guys really have too much in terms of trade value. Left wing side, if we were to deal Jason Robertson, now would be the time to do it before that extension kicks in, right? Like, now would be the time. As Maddox Schultz goes first overall to Seattle. I guess, too, like, Nikishin was the other deal that's going to be kicking in, but no proper offers for him. No proper offers for Robertson either. Fiala we need to keep because, again, we need a playmaker in that top six, and we got to find another one. Rally, really good improvements. What's he worth, though? Monahan, Olivier in a sixth, Hayton a third, and Malkin. Yeah, we'll keep him. We'll keep him, and there's not much else to do there. Okay, because like Dano and Kopp aren't going to have any trade value right now. If we were to try to move up at all, it would have to be to like pick number 14, which I don't think that's going to happen either from the looks of it. Let me see what they'd even want. Yep, no trades found. Well, we're going to have two picks then. It will be picks number 29 and 30. Back to back. I mean, unless we could get like Minnesota or Detroit, we might as well check that. Minnesota, 7 soda, nothing for you. And then Detroit. Okay. Let's go ahead and make these back-to-back picks then. And see what is there. We will go back through and just show you the top picks, though. Of course, we're starting to get a lot more generated dudes into the mix. But you still have guys like Liam Pugh, Zach Charbonneau perhaps, Fugelberg, Jack Hare. There's some good names in this draft class. Riker Kessler to Anaheim. All right. Cruz Jim. It's Cruz Jim, isn't it? I don't remember what the hell his name was. It was Cruz Jim. Never mind. I did remember what his name was. If we, in theory, were to trade these picks, which I don't think we will, but in theory, Gostis Barron a fourth, D'Angelo, no thank you, Olivier, Boychuk, Toropchenko. Okay, we're making these picks. Let's see who we can get. Add a little bit of prospect depth to the mix here. Oh, God, we don't know anything about anybody. I mean, there is Jaden Pominville, which is nice. Cruz Armstrong. I mean, we could just take sons of former players. God, Tommy Makela does have confirmed send it. Interesting. Hold on. Let's see. Pominville, 2 years out. Armstrong, 2 years out. Hensick is 3. Makela's 2 years out. Sam, very French as a goalie. I mean, granted, we could use another goalie in the system. I just don't know if it's worth it. He probably is a medium elite, though. Casey McKenna, unconfirmed 1 year out. Jackson Clutterbuck is 3 years out. Leif Outen. McElroy, 3 years out, 3 years out. Okay, so it looks like whoever we have on the board already is who we're going for. So it's 2 out of the 5. Let's call a timeout. And honestly, if we were to talk to the Winnipeg Jets about doing the Don Sweeney thing, of 3 picks in a row, granted later in the round. Karels, Bieber, Richard, Brustowitz, Theam. No, it's not worth it. Okay, so we do have to choose. Do we take a goalie in the first round in Mr. Sam Very French? Unconfirmed, 2 years out. The fact that McKenna, unconfirmed 1 year out, that is so tempting. Like, the safe picks are Pominville and Armstrong. The most intriguing picks are probably Makala and McKenna. Yeah, I mean, 2 years out. Makala, 2 years out. We're going for the thin. Tommy Makala. Let's go ahead and take him from the Vex Show Lakers. 70 overall, medium 6 power forward. Does have send it. I don't regret that at all. And still really tempted by the goalie. Maybe we'll try to make something happen. I want Casey McKenna. I should not have wanted Casey McKenna. It was unconfirmed. Oh, Winnipeg. Winnipeg. You've already ruined my day. Can you help make up now for a pretty unfortunate... Okay, what the hell? He had to have been higher up, right? I just had to have missed him. Please? Where the hell is he in terms of value? There's no way it's that bad, right? He was a high 9. Or was he a medium 9? He was a medium 9, wasn't he? Oh my god. I do not like these Winnipeg Jets. No, sir, I do not. McKenna in 2/3 isn't even enough. What else can we do? Please? What if I give you a nice shiny medium bottom 6 and a medium 7th? Probably need to work on trade values a little bit, EA, still. Just a little bit. And you know what? I'll take the goalie. I'll take the goalie. We took the goalie. Season 4 is upon us. And of course, I talked about it earlier, right? Contracts happening. Adrian Kempe today signed his extension with the LA Kings. And honestly, the term of that deal is kind of close to what we actually signed him to. Which, if he's going to play in real life like he has in this series, Kings fans are going to have a very bad time. So, fingers crossed for you, Kings fans. But heading into this season, I do like the way this team is looking, although some of the solutions weren't exactly the most ideal of solutions. We have Kevin Fiala, Quentin Byfield, and of course, you knew it, Liam Greentree, first line player. He has to be. He is so good, so clutch. He's on that top line. Jason Robertson and Adrian Kempe are going to be playing with 42-year-old Evgeny Malkin. He was the only guy on the free agent list, a playmaking center that we really needed to try to bring some cohesion to that top 6. Again, he's 42 and wanted a 2-year deal. Beggars can't be choosers. I had to do what I had to do. We'll see what he can do. Third line is Trevor Moore, who, again, we got to kind of balance his happiness a little bit. Trevor Moore, Philip Deneau, and Lenny Haminaho, who was a UFA at his age. What the hell are you doing in New Jersey not qualifying him? Wasn't planning on bringing in a playmaker for the third line, but with 92 passing and 93 offensive awareness, he could be an absolute gem of a power play specialist. We're going to give him a chance. And then the fourth line, more grit, baby. Keegan Colasar, Nick Foligno, and Marcus Foligno. We needed some grit. We needed some defensive responsibility, and we have that on that fourth line. The defense, Mikey Anderson and Brant Clark. Drew Doughty is back, and Alex Nikishin has gotten even better. What a deal this was for us to get him from Carolina. All-star tape-to-tape and Pressure Plus and Specialist Rocket. And the third pair is Jakub Dvorak with Henry Brustowitz, who has made the team. And if he struggles a little bit, we could always bring in someone closer to the deadline. Your goaltenders, Hampus Slakinski and Connor Ingram. there wasn't anybody better to bring in as a backup. We know it's Hampton's team, but Ingram served us well. We brought him back. Figured why not. AHL-wise, we do have some people in the mix now, right? Which is nice. Keith Card was somebody that we found in the 3rd round this year. He's looking pretty good. Jose Raleigh is still there as a bit of a long shot to be anything at the NHL level, but again, another former 3rd-round pick. Antti Pihlstrom, we'll see if he can be anything. But then Beckham Edwards is in the AHL now. Tommy Makala, who we picked up in this past draft as well. And then a bunch of medium 9s, including Blake Vanek, Marcus and Liam Ruck. Just a bunch of dudes who might make it, but a couple of guys in the mix. Again, we still don't really have that A-grade prospect, but it's tough to get that A-grade prospect when we've been a playoff team 3 years in a row. The defense is very, very similar, right? Like Carson Carroll's, he is very much pushing for an NHL job next year. A bunch of medium 6s as well, but someone like Noah Teamu, who's a 78 at 20 years old, that's great. And then defensively, of course, we look good. Goaltending, Petri Rempinen still there. And then Terrell Schneider, free agent, 5th-round pick in the Mammoth. They didn't sign him. Sure. Can we please, oh my God, please, can we make the AI just a little bit smarter? Please. No new X Factors like Hipster. No, let's hold off on a week of pack releases where you're going to get only 78 overall cards anyway. Can we please make the AI just a little bit smarter? Please. Well, I don't think we're going to be as good as we were last year, but the LA Kings are still a very, very good hockey team. 37, 19-3, leading our division by 8 points, a week out from this trade deadline. Let's take a look at how the boys are doing here as, again, 2 + 5s in the top 6. Kevin Fiala, 16 goals, 28 assists. Good. Not great, if we're being honest, for a player of his caliber. Quentin Byfield, 43 points. Good, but not great. And Liam Greentree, 43 points. I excuse him a little bit compared to the other two, given that he's only a second-line player. But you may have noticed that potential has jumped to a medium elite. Oh, my God. He's so good. Elite Edge has developed as well. He's the star of this series, let's be honest. Jason Robertson, though, God, he loves playing with Gino. 38 goals for Jason Robertson, thank God. The most he has had since the 22-23 season, and of course the year isn't done yet, so it should be another 40-goal year for him. Evgeny Malkin, 15 goals, 38 assists. He's not really heavily declining either. He still looks great. And then Adrian Kempe, we did get him to change to a power forward to see if that would spark things. No, he just doesn't score. Really, he is almost to last season's point total, though, which is good. But yeah, Trevor Moore, 26 points, not bad. Philip Deneau on 29, and then Jaime Najo, 7 goals, 26 assists. Again, he is a good power play specialist. In the bottom 6, Marcus Foligno, 8 points, 12 for Nick Foligno, and then Colasar at 13. So again, not too bad. Maybe too many penalty minutes on that 4th line, but it's the nature of the beast. The time allocation with our coach as well, which we ended up with Jared Bednar, is that he rolls the top 3 lines, doesn't use the 4th line all that much, which is funny because of the amount of penalty minutes they've still taken. So when we talk about the trade deadline, what do? I don't think we do much, really. I'll be honest, like the one change I'm tempted to make, it's like, again, we have Fiala and Malkin as our playmakers. I'm tempted to go Robertson, Malkin, Greentree, Fiala, Byfield, Kempe. Now that means we have, 3 guys on the, 2 out of 3 guys on the second line are first line players, but they have the power play time, that's what our number 1 power play unit's looking like right now. And then the second unit is everyone else you might expect. So I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I don't think we're going to change too much. And then defensively, Mikey Anderson, he's also taken quite a few penalty minutes this year. Brant Clark already at 48 assists, which is great. He has a goal for the season to win the Norris Trophy. We'll see if he can do it. Nikishin is a -12 alongside Drew Doughty, who finally looks cooked. But then Dvorak and Brustowitz have been insane. Look at that. +28, +26. Again, plus minus, not a great stat necessarily, but when it's to either end of the extremes, it tells a bit more of a story. So the fact that these guys, I mean, 23 and 22 years old, are playing that well together, it's great. So Drew Doughty is kind of the guy that we're looking at and being like, maybe we're replacing you at this deadline. Maybe we are. And then goaltending-wise, Slakinski on a 914. Connor Ingram, thank God we brought him back. He's so good. He is so good. So, like I said, right now, oh, and by the way, look at this development. Keith Card and Jose Raleigh. I said these guys might be able to be something. They're going to be something. So the big thing that we're looking at, maybe a slight change to the fourth line for people that take fewer penalties, and maybe a replacement for Drew Doughty, who, again, just looks kind of cooked at this point. And the natural move would be to swap him and Brustowitz, but we can't break up that third pairing with how those guys are playing. We just can't do it. So we'll have to see what our options are. I mean, we beat New Jersey 11-1 this past Sunday. Holy shit. If there's somebody out there to replace Drew Doughty with, we have to consider it. There is Devon Taves. He's got 3 years left at 7.25. He is left-handed. I prefer him to be right. Dmitry Pachelnikov, the former Rookie of the Year. Hello? No trades found, though. Mackenzie Weegar is a right-handed shot. He's got 3 years left at 6.25. What's the asking price there? Makala and 2/3, Edwards in a second. Is it worth it, though? We're trying to win a cup. Is that worth it? God, he's got elite level warrior. He's still got truculence, second wind. I mean, he's not an outright defensive defenseman, but that might be the answer with Mackenzie Weegar. I mean, trading for one defenseman from the Carolina Hurricanes has worked out in the past. Then you have Travis Sanheim. Forster was just picked up by the Bruins, I saw. Gustafsson in goal. Dylan Holloway. Let's see. Owen Tippett, who's still got a lot of time left. Holloway would be an interesting rental, but, like, do we put him on the fourth line, you know? Cam York's a lefty. Mason Marchment. Michael Kesselring. Okay, so clearly, if we're bringing in a defenseman, it's Mackenzie Weegar. If we're bringing in a replacement for Drew Doughty, it's got to be Mackenzie Weegar. And I like Tommy Makala quite a bit. That's why we took him 29th overall. Love the fact that he has sended already. But do we want this prospect or do we want a Stanley Cup? Makala 2/3 to Carolina for Mackenzie Weegar. That is our big move. We'll see if we can do anything else. What is the cost of Dylan Holloway, for example? 2 seconds, Dvorak. Carroll's in a second. Not willing to pay that much if we'd be parking Holloway on the fourth line. Tippett's got too much time left. What about, Noah Cates is gone right as I started looking at him. The Rangers picked him up. Mason Marchment? No offers found. What about Ryan Hartman? Second to fourth and Dvorak, Carroll's, Edward. Man, even the price for Ryan Hartman's up. We got a pretty good deal for Weegar. Let's see. Patrick Kane, Brandon Montour, Nazem Kadri. A second, Vanek, and a fourth. Vanek and 2 fourths. Kelly a fourth and Gustafsson. Campbell a fourth and Gustafsson. And then, Joe Iginla. You know what? We're going to do this. Joe Iginla, Gustafsson in a fourth to Calgary for Nazem Kadri. I can't pass up on an opportunity. Now, granted, his dad did play for the Kings. As weird as that is, I can't pass up on an opportunity to send Joe Iginla to Calgary. I mean, come on. It's got to be done. Let's see if they're willing to retain on Kadri here, just in case there's another deal we're going to be able to make. Although, man, we have so much salary available. It's crazy. We'd have to add a little bit more, and we can do that. That's not a big deal. Byfield's franchise? Did that just happen? What if we had these two misses? There we go. Nazem Kadri, welcome in. Joe Aginla, have fun in Calgary. And that is probably all we're going to be able to do. Unless there's a deal for Brian Rust. Second Dvorak, Carroll's, Gordon Carroll. Oh my God. Again, it's crazy how some of these guys are just like, yeah, no. Second round pick plus, please. Thank you. Philip Kurashev, Bobby Brink, Vemelka. I think we're done. But bringing in Mackenzie Weegar and Nazem Kadri, not a bad way to go. God, did we buy Mason Appleton at the deadline again? Kelly in a fourth. Campbell in a fourth. Epperson in a fourth. Okay, I mean, that seems pretty consistent. And honestly, just to give ourselves better options. Adam Kelly's not bad, though. 76 and 20 is pretty good. Who else was in that kind of category? I think Campbell was mentioned. Who's a 76 and 20. Vanek is now fourth line worthy. So next year we'll probably have to trade him or move on. Epperson's a 78 at 22. Let's move him. We'll give him a chance in St. Louis. And we'll bring in Mason Appleton as a rental. Done deal. Okay. Weegar, Kadri, Appleton. The reinforcements are arriving. And hopefully we have a Stanley Cup to win this year. Let me jinx that real quick. 52, 25, and 5. 109 points. The top team in the Western Conference. Not the top team in the NHL. That went to the Washington Capitals, who had 10 more points than we did. But another phenomenal regular season for the Kings. And I'm really happy about how we've been able to keep this team competitive, to have been able to rejuvenate this team with a couple of key pickups where, the most realistic in the world, maybe not, but hey, we've seen relationships fall apart in terms of key players and their teams, and moves happen. So, I mean, is it the most unrealistic? I don't know, but what isn't unrealistic is the fact that Jason Robertson went off. 96 points and a new career high, 57 goals. Outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. I mean, more goals combined than he had in the past 2 seasons, which is absurd, really. I mean, just phenomenal from him. Kempe still just 23 goals, but 76 points. Evgeny Malkin's an ageless wonder, 73 for him. Fiala drops back down to 23 goals, which means next year he'll have 30 plus, maybe 40 plus again. I don't know what the hell his deal is. Liam Greentree, 29 goals. He did slow down a little bit, but I mean, come on. Look at these, if I can hit the right button there, because they changed that. Look at these playoff numbers. Come on. We know he's going to ball out, and if he doesn't, then I won't even blame him. It won't be his fault. Quinton Byfield, just 56 points. That's low. That is low. Nazem Kadri, post-deadline, 9 points in 18 games. No complaints there for the former champ. Lenny Haminaho did great, 41 points. Trevor Moron, 36. So, Trevor Moron. You're a smart fella, Trevor. I'm not insulting you. This team looks good to go, honestly. My one concern, perhaps, is at certain points, some guys can go quiet. If everybody starts to struggle at the same time, we're in very big trouble. But with the amount of talent that we have, I'd like to think that's not going to happen, right? Maybe, please, possibly, I hope. Sakinski, of course, was really, really good too. And then you get the league-wide perspective, and it was Kucherov leading the way. Ovechkin, speaking of ageless wonders, he's 43. He still hasn't retired. He led the league in goals with 64, just ahead of Austin Matthews. Defensively, Bouchard is probably taking home the Norris. Brant Clark is getting closer. It's just there's some ridiculous competition out there for that award. Logan Thompson was the winningest goaltender in the league. Shutout leader, though, was Yegor Zavragin, and Igor Shesterkin. The Russians are taking over. And then Askarov, top save percentage, so case in point. And then for the rookies, honestly, it'll probably go to Ivar Stenberg because of the plus-minus. Again, the game measures it quite heavily for Calder winners especially, so I don't think it'll go to Landon DuPont, even though it should. I mean, come on, like, he was sick, but what are you going to do? So with that said, I haven't even done the math to see who we're playing yet, and the answer is the Anaheim Ducks. By 1 point instead of the Mammoth. Oh, it's our old pals in Anaheim. So just a quick look at what the lines have been recently. We have been rolling with this. Robertson and Malkin, again, have been a great combination. Kadri on the fourth line with Nick Foligno, Mason Appleton. The penalties have been declining quite a bit, too. And then Mackenzie Weegar's been playing with Nikishin. We did end up scratching Drew Doughty because that Dvorak-Brustowicz pairing was so strong this season. Playoff-wise, hey, worst comes to worst, we have Drew Doughty to put back into the lineup. We have Keegan Colasar. So the Anaheim Ducks look like this: Cutter Gauthier, Mason McTavish, Nick Schmaltz, Mikhail Granlund, Leo Carlson, Troy Terry, Lawson Krause, Ryan Hartman, and Jack Roslovich, Beckett Seneca, Roger McQueen, and Colton Sissons. Defense is Jackson Lacombe and Pavel Minchikov, Olin Zellweger, Mario Ferraro, Stian Solberg, and Tristan Luneau. Goaltender, Lukas Dostal. And healthy scratches, Tarasenko, Ross Colton, and Charlie Ehrlich. Okay. 28th in goals for, and they made it. We're third. God, I got a bad feeling about this. Their leading scorer, too, as you can see there, was Nick Schmaltz on 57 points. I mean, we should win this series. I have confidence in this team. I don't necessarily have confidence in the way this game sims playoff series. First period, 2-1 Kings. Green Tree. I might have to get a Green Tree jersey when he makes the Kings at this point. Oh my God. This is one of those series where if we ran this for a decade plus, he would go down as the face of the series because it's been 4 seasons and he's already the face of the series. Gino also gets a goal too. Second period, Ducks take the lead. Third period, we tie it with 12 minutes to go. Again, Green Tree and Malkin. Overtime is a win for the Ducks. Great performance from that top line. Great performance from Green Tree. Not the debut we needed from Slukinski here. And we had some concerns about him last year, too. We are going to switch it over to Connor Ingram here. And I mean, he was good in the regular season, right? He's got a career .915 in 137 games. Playoff-wise, he has a career .906. We'll see. We'll see. I said it was his team, but I might have lied. Game number 2. Connor Ingram, can you do better than that? First period, 1-1. Kevin Fiala gets our goal. Second period, 3-2. Green Tree, Haminaho, as Hartman gets one back. Third period. Five goals for Anaheim within 9 minutes. 3 of them just from absolutely horrific angles. And a 7-4 win for the Ducks. Ingram was pulled. Slukinski gave up the last 2. I mean, that's 2 straight games with 4 goals and a loss. What are we, the freaking Edmonton Oilers? Oh my God, 12 goals against in 2 games. For a team that was doing all right in terms of goals against average in the regular season. Oh my God, I can't blame any of the skaters at this point. Like, and God, Ingram was even worse. I mean, Petri Rimponen, right? Like, I mean, God, do we turn to him? Apparently he had 8 games for Ontario in the playoffs last year and got ripped to shreds. One more game for Slukinski, I guess, but if he loses this, we got to turn to Rimponen. That's crazy. Game 3, first period, 1-1. Quentin Byfield scores for us. Second period, the best team in the Western Conference is staring down the barrel of disaster. Third period. For the third straight game, the Ducks score at least 4 goals. This time it's 6. Oh my God. What happened to this team? A goals against average of a 6.0 even? Is that still the case, or has it just not updated? No, that's, 3 games, an average of 6 goals against. And we are down 3-0 to the 8th seed Ducks. Apparently that second pairing has been getting ripped to shreds in particular. But I mean, come on. Slikinski might not be the guy. Ingram might not be the guy either. Does Ingram have another year left after this? He does, doesn't he? No, this was it. Okay, this is it, all right. Petri Rimpinen. We're going to have to call him up. We really have no choice. And from a forward perspective, there's really basically nobody I can send down. I can't even send down Ingram. Can I send down Slikinski? I mean, how much time does he have left? He's an RFA at the end of the year. I don't necessarily want to piss him off because we won't get full value. I mean, I could send down Brustowitz, who probably is going to get scratched for Doughty, just to get Drew in there. I mean, this could be Drew's last game, and we can't even do that because of the goalie situation, or it glitched. Oh, no, I still had Slikinski. Hello? Okay, so that just is glitched. Okay. Well, let's try that again, shall we? Unless I didn't choose... Did I not choose Rimpinen? I did, didn't I? I don't know what the hell just happened. I didn't even want to send down Slikinski, but okay. Well, I know I had him selected, but still, and then we'll send down Brustowitz. Sorry to Brustowitz, but don't worry. You're on this team full-time next year. So, well, you were on the team full-time this year. But Drew Doughty is in. He'll play with Nikishin. We'll have Dvorak and Uyghur. Goaltender, it'll be Rimpinen as the starter with Slikinski as the backup. Connor Ingram's seen his last bit of action for this team, that's for sure. And then for Ontario, it auto-signed a 54 overall backup, but that's fine. Schneider can be the guy. Wow. Wow. Game 4. Backs against the wall here. First period, 1-1. Mackenzie Uyghur scores for us. Second period, still 1-1. Third period, the Anaheim Ducks have swept the Los Angeles Kings in the first round. Rimpinen was great. Second star of the game, only allowed the 2 goals. It's not his fault at all. If we had gotten goaltending like that throughout the rest of the series, we would have been fine. That is one of the most unbelievable first-round exits, I think, in the history of this channel. What a disaster for a team of that caliber to fall short like that. I mean, Adrian Kempe didn't record a point. Nazem Kadri didn't record a point. -7 for Nikishin. And then, Slikinski and Ingram. How the hell did we just become the Edmonton Oilers? Tampa Bay Lightning win the Stanley Cup. The Abbotsford Canucks win the Calder Cup. I am still in a bit of shock, to be honest, to have seen how that all played out. The Lightning ended up beating Nashville in 7 after the Preds made it past Anaheim in the conference finals. And go figure, Anaheim beat Edmonton too. Edmonton could at least win 2 games. We couldn't do anything. I don't need to look at the points, do I? Oh, God. But Tampa, you see their key players there. Really, the only addition that they don't have IRL is Sean Dursey. And then Vasi is still crazy, right? In terms of the awards, it has now been Edmonton, New Jersey, Montreal, and Tampa. Kucherov wins the Art Ross. Ovechkin wins the Hart Trophy. Bouchard the Norris. Calder does go to Stenberg, as predicted. Kucherov wins the Conn Smythe. Vesna to Shesterkin. Masterton to Jamie Alexiak. Jack Adams to Chicago. Selke to Austin Matthews. Kucherov to Ted Lindsay Award and Ovi the Rocket Richard. In the AHL, Holmertz was the top point getter and league MVP. Brendan Othman was the top goal scorer. Bang was the top rookie. Max Zuber was the top defenseman. Jordan Binnington, the best goaltender. And Hermansen was the MVP of the Calder Cup playoffs. I mentioned that a certain goalie of ours, who might not be our goalie for too much longer, is an RFA. We have a bunch of deals expiring. Kevin Fiala is a I didn't even notice this. Kevin Fiala is a pending UFA. That might be it for Fiala. Greentree's an RFA, Clark, and Byfield. Is Quentin Byfield going to be worth the 10 plus he's commanding? I'm sure that's what he's going to be asking for. RFA status means we could trade him. Is Quentin Byfield worth 11 mil? Based off production, the answer was no. Is Kevin Fiala, who doesn't want to come back, is he worth 12? No. Kevin Fiala's played his last game as a King. No doubt. No doubt. Clark is going to be worth pretty much whatever the hell he's asking for, which is currently $13 million. And then obviously Greentree could ask for max, and I'd still sign him. Slakinski, I can't justify $4.8 million. I mean, he's only 23, but the last two postseasons have been a disaster, and it's mostly on him because you can't blame the team in front of him. We know how good the team in front of him is. So we are kind of going now from potential contender stage to maybe taking a step back a little bit. Evgeny Malkin is gone. One and done as a King. 8 assists shy of 1,000 in his career. Nick Foligno is also gone. Drew Doughty's holding on, but I don't think we're keeping Drew Doughty unless he's asking for a low amount simply because we don't really have space for him. I mean, I guess you could still play him where Mackenzie Weegar was this year, post-deadline. I guess we'll see. Maybe he does stick around. But this is going to be very busy. Very, very busy. Because, again, some of these guys just aren't worth the deals that they are on or the deals that they are going to be asking for. I mean, especially with Schneider and Bethlehem in the system, who was almost ready to go. Slakinski's out. He's out. A second, a third, and Lostarinen from Florida. At least we're sending him out west. That's a done deal. We'll take Lostarinen. Connor Ingram's deal is up. We couldn't trade him right now anyway. So Slakinski's gone. Had to happen. We'll see if we run with a combination of these three or if we bring in another goalie for the year. Defensively, I mean, that top three is still intact. Mackenzie Weegar does have 2 years left, but at 35, I mean, he wasn't that bad in the regular season. Once we acquired him, he was actually quite good playoff-wise defensively. Again, can you blame him for that, though? But we have Carols, who's about ready to go. Brustowitz, we know, is ready full-time. Are we going to keep Doughty? There's Harrington on the way up. So maybe we keep Mackenzie Weegar for now, unless there's a really good offer. Alessandro Diorio and a third. Liljeberg and a third. 36th overall and a third. 26th overall pick from the Habs. Jordan Spence, Nemesnikov, Teravainen. 26th overall from the Habs for a 35-year-old defenseman. Alessandro Diorio, what do you look like here? 21, 77, and a medium 6. He is a playmaker, though, which would be pretty nice to have. And then Chicago had the other prospect that we liked the potential looks of, and that was Miska Liljeberg, who's a year younger and a point worse. Right. Who's a sniper, which we probably don't need. I will think about the Weegar deal, because for the moment I don't know. Also, Brustowitz has gone low elite, which is great. Right wing side, Kempe is untradeable unless he chooses to leave. Haminaho has gone to a second line forward, but that does mean he can replace Kevin Fiala, who's on the outs. So we don't necessarily have to get rid of this kid, which is good. Because you put him with Greentree, I think they could do really, really well. Pielstrom's obviously going nowhere, so from there we're okay. Left wing side, we know there's no shot of resigning Kevin Fiala. If we can get a third round pick, we'll do it. Again, like, there's just no way. You know, we're not paying someone 60-point guy $12 million a year. It just can't happen. So let's get something for Kevin Fiala's signing rights. I mean, a third round pick would be nice, but definitely not to Anaheim. Boston's offering a third as well. So it was Colorado, but they're disqualified. If we're sending him anywhere, it's out east. As St. Louis have picked a franchise defenseman first overall. So there you go. Landon DuPont has some competition. Is there anything better than a third round pick out there? I mean, if we see a second, that's GG's, but I think a third rounder is the best we are going to get. And I mean, I imagine that's Mason St. Louis, who is signed, so I don't necessarily want him. Was there any Eastern Conference teams offering a third and a seventh? I feel like there we go, New Jersey. Kevin Fiala, we'll send you out, or at least your signing rights to New Jersey. We are done with Kevin Fiala. Just way too expensive. Way too expensive. And then centers, Quentin Byfield is worth a hell of a lot. By the way, look at Card, look at Rally. Philip Deneau, we couldn't trade anyway, even if we wanted to. Could try to deal the rights to Nazem Kadri, but I can't imagine they're too crazy. Yeah, he doesn't even have any offers. If we were to try to deal Byfield, it would have to be a manual trade. Okay. That makes sense. That makes sense. Mackenzie Weegar. Are we going to go Brustowitz Nikishin next year? We might. I mean, again, Weegar can get us a former first-round pick and a third or just an outright first-round pick this year. So around pick number 26, who's available, right? Is there like a medium elite steal or something like that? My God. Okay, this draft is stacked. We have no way of trading up for Mel Shalaric. Just no shot. Unless we were to use Byfield, but we're running low on time. Florida, can we interest you in a blockbuster for that second pick? Even though we'd be missing out on value. We'd be missing out on a lot of value. I'd be surprised if they could even afford this. So many no movement clauses, of course. They do have Lundell. How much is Anton Lundell making? $5 million for this year and next. I mean, we do need a center. And clearly, that could work. Byfield for the second overall pick and Anton Lundell. Quentin Byfield is gone. We simply weren't going to pay him $13 million a season. We'll see if the Panthers can even afford to sign him. But we do pick up not only a replacement in Lundell, yes, technically a downgrade, but we pick up not only a replacement in Lundell, but also the second overall pick. I don't mind it. You know, Lundell kind of taking over in a way for Philip Deneau. I don't know who our number one center will be this year. It might be Lundell, but if we can have a center core involving Lundell and Deneau and get one more impact player in there, we could be okay. And we know who we're getting with the second overall pick, and he is a center because we are getting the 6'4" power forward from Tappara. Holy shit. This all happened really quickly. No weaknesses, NHL ready without a comparison. Confirmed spark plug and big rig. This dude is mean. He is nasty. And he is a Los Angeles King at a 78 overall high elite. We found our... Oh my God, he has another one. Elite big rig, all-star unstoppable, specialist spark plug. It sucks to get rid of Quentin Byfield, but man... I think we landed on our feet pretty well here. Man, Melisheric might end up as our first line center this year, honestly. That is absurd. I think we landed on our feet very, very well here. Centers of Lundell, Deno, Melisheric, and whoever else. Left wing side is going to be, and that's right, we have Lostarinen too. His deal was up though, wasn't it? He was just kind of a tack on. Yeah, his deal was up. I don't know if we'll bring him back, but it could be left wing side of Robertson, Haminaho, and Moore. Right wing side, Greentree, Kempe, and Lostarinen. And then the bottom six is, man, depending on what we end up doing with the whole Mackenzie Weegar, Drew Doughty conversation. Damn. And honestly, for Weegar, it's just pretty much going to depend on what Brewstowitz looks like. And then goaltending, obviously, it's like, okay, that's a big question mark. But no matter what we do, apparently that's going to be a question mark. I am very happy with how we've done here. And we do still have the 27th pick. And a couple of teams within the top 5 are willing to trade their picks. NHL ready. Confirmed Wheels and Born Leader for Dominic Zelezny. I would imagine that's another center. Johan Nyberg. NHL ready, quick release and tape to tape. Holy shit. Parker McMillan, no confirmed abilities. Oliver Tomastik, NHL ready with edges, 1T, and Rockets. Rocket was unconfirmed? Yeah, 3 out of 4. So yeah, if we could utilize that pick. Ooh, there is also Braden Jugnoth? Yugnoth. That depends on the emphasis. Is a high 6. Yeah, if we can trade up into the top 10 again, we're going to be looking pretty good. What the hell even is that ability? Unstoppable? It's ankle breaker. Okay. So Detroit at 5. So we got Detroit, Buffalo, and Dallas. Can we find a deal? Detroit, 5th overall. Haminaho, Gordon Carroll, and Carrolls. Weegar, Gordon Carrolls, and as the Kraken take Paré, which is fine. God, we know this is going to be expensive, but is there the right deal? Mikey Anderson, Greentree, get the hell out of here. Lundell, straight up. Okay, I'm not willing to pay that. We had Dallas up next. No, I forget who the hell was 6, I got to be honest. Haminaho, Carrolls, Weegar. Okay, that is just looking like the asking price. It was Buffalo. But in fairness, Dallas is even further back. It might be too expensive to pull off one of these deals, honestly. I mean, again, it's like, okay, trade in 2 good prospects who are basically ready, and Haminaho, who's already ready. Yeah, okay. That's not going to happen then. That's okay. That is okay. I think we have done our damage in this draft then outside of our own pick. Unless we can go Colorado or New Jersey, there's really no reason to trade up again after getting the 2nd overall pick. Colorado. Haminaho is in high demand, which means he's not going anywhere. Oh my God. And then New Jersey, Gordon Carroll, Brewstowitz. Nope. No. Okay. So, for the moment, we're going to hold on to Mackenzie Weegar. And we are going to see who we can get with this pick or potentially trade down. Casey Foy is going to be a low to mid 60 at a medium 6. Telkvist 2 years out. Karkner 5, but he's got a Chara comparison. 3 years for Pan. Bourdon 2 years, 2 years, 3 years. Nobody that's looking insane. There we go. Rainier Kopitz. NHL ready. He is only a medium 6. That's not bad. That's the type of player we were waiting to see. I don't know if there will be another one. I don't think so. So Kopitz is the guy. He was around pick number 46. So can we trade this pick and then trade back up? 27th overall. Nashville offering a 2nd of Kevin Hayes. Brock Nelson. George. Okay, Jesus. That's all we can get. I mean, let's just make the pick then, right? Damn. If that's all we can get, which isn't much. I mean, unless there's somebody, there is a confirmed medium league goalie, Daryl Hallweg, later on. We'll worry about that later. For now, left wing, the German Rainier Kopitz. 77 overall out of the gates. Could be a fourth liner as soon as this year, but big, big, big moves in Los Angeles. Byfield, Fiala, Slakinski are out for the moment. Lostarinen's in. Anton Lundell is in. And of course, we picked up the second overall selection. Madness. Season 5 is upon us, our final season at the helm of the Kings in this particular video that has taken way too long to make because of all the things I talked about, the transactions, just the fact it takes forever to set up a team season to season, and different glitches like getting stuck into loading screens when negotiating with free agents and having to start over an entire offseason. I love this game. I love this game. And I love this team. Let's talk about what we look like heading into the season, because obviously there were big changes and big contracts that needed to be signed. This is what we are looking like to start off season 5. And we're trying a couple of different things, right? Lenny Haminaho, want to try him on the top line as one of the playmakers within that top 6. We have a goal for him to get 40 assists. I think he should be able to do that. And why not see what the Quentin Byfield replacement, really, and Max Melisherik can do? Only a 78 in a minor league checking forward, but it's worth a shot to see what he can do, especially, too, if he can win the Calder and potentially become a sniper to get a couple of extra attributes if that goes through. And then Liam Greentree, of course, the face of this series in so many ways. He also developed Born Leader, so you know he's getting that captaincy. We signed him to a big-time deal. This is because at the end of the deal, he'll still be an RFA. So if we were to continue on, you know, we could potentially get compensation for him if he's asking for like $15+ million. Although, to be honest, I'd probably give him that money. The second line, Jason Robertson, of course, he's absolutely insane. He does have top power play time to try to offset the fact he's on the second line. I'll have to monitor to see if he gets mad about it. Schaefer Gordon Carroll is going to get an opportunity as well. Another playmaker, because they really didn't exist on free agency, at least affordable playmakers. So give another young guy an opportunity. 90 passing, 90 offensive awareness already. I think he could be great, especially when he is with Robertson and Adrian Kempe, as I punched my microphone. Sorry if that made a weird noise. Third line, Gabriel Landeskog. We brought in one member of the Colorado Avalanche Stanley Cup winning team, and that went terribly. It couldn't possibly happen twice, right? But Landeskog is here for the third line with Anton Lundell. Obviously, if needed, we're going to be bumping up Lundell quite a bit. But then we also have Trevor Moore as well, so trying to do a lot in terms of special teams to keep these guys happy. Fourth line, Wojciech Cihar. I think it's Cihar. I'm not sure. I'm going to go with Cihar. I might be wrong. But he is here as well on that fourth line with Philip Deno, and Blake Vanek has also made the team, another 2025 pick. He was with Ottawa, but he is ours now. So, you know, trying some different things. Certainly trying to brute force development for some of the younger players. Our defense is exactly the same as last year, just a little bit more expensive because Brant Clark's extension went through. And yeah, of course, I gave him the sun and the moon. Why wouldn't I? He has proven to be worth it. He's in that Norris conversation every single year. Goaltenders, it's going to be Terrell Schneider and Linus Allmark as the backup. I tried bringing in Thatcher Demko. It didn't work. He rejected. Well, actually, the first time I tried to bring him in was when I got stuck in a loading screen. And then the second time, he rejected the deal anyway. It was great. But we'll see what Schneider can do. Of course, we know what goaltending in this game, just it's going to do what it's going to do. Healthy scratches, though. Kolasar, who, you know, has a no movement clause, so we don't have much of a choice. Drew Doughty is still here, at least for this year. It was pretty expensive to get him back, but he deserves to be a king. Carson Carrells, the old Carrolls. I don't know what to do. I don't want to have to make a decision between him and Dvorak in terms of who gets that third pair spot, because I can't possibly move Dvorak yet, but I don't want to move this kid either, right? And primarily because you look at our defense and something's going to have to give, right? I don't think long-term Well, in fairness, that Nikishin deal is actually outstanding, so maybe it would work out long term. But like, Mikey Anderson, where's he going to be long term? Like, he's about to get paid a lot more, and for a defensive defenseman, it's risky. Like, every single year, there's going to be questions of what needs to happen next. But if that third pair starts to slip, at least we have Carrolls that can jump in. And then in the AHL, that was one of the things that we really focused on in this challenge, was rebuilding the AHL. And now you have Rainier Kopitz, Jose Rally, Keith Card especially as a prospect. Vorobiev we picked up in the 5th round this year. There's actually some prospects. They're not necessarily the top-notch prospects, but that's because we also graduated a lot of dudes to the next level, right? And that was the goal, ultimately. So we have one more shot at trying to win a Stanley Cup with this team. We'll see if we can do it, though. Although, before we get into that, obviously I need to show you guys some of the new contracts that were handed out, because, money. Matter of fact, I don't even know where I don't even remember where the hell he signed, actually. Kevin Fiala signed at Anaheim. Oh, Lord, did he. 3 years, $13.855 million, full no movement clause. No chance in hell we were giving him that contract, obviously. And quickly, too, me scrolling through these will give you guys the opportunity to see, like, okay, what the salary structure is like 4 seasons in, including for Axel Sandin Pellikka, who is now in Calgary, and Quinton Byfield signed with the Carolina Hurricanes. 2 years, $16 million a season. I like Quinton Byfield, unless he wins the Hart Trophy this year and wins the scoring title. Oh my God, Kent Johnson's getting 14. Unless Byfield wins the scoring title this year, there's just no way that particular contract was worth it to us. Not at all. But yeah, shout out to the Florida Panthers, who did not manage to keep Quinton Byfield, which is kind of crazy. So, I mean, the Florida Panthers, absolutely gigantic losers in that equation. Tops making 17. Holy hell, man. You got Gavin McKenna making 9.5 already. Nico Hischier, of course, over 10. Barzal. It's interesting. Adam Fox is making 18 mil. It's interesting to see what teams are paying. Oh, my God. What teams are paying crazy contracts. And some of these teams don't even have a dude making over $10 million a season. So you just never know what you're going to get. Shout out to Crosby and Ovechkin, though, neither being retired right now, which is kind of nuts. But yeah, see, look at St. Louis, at least for the main roster, another single guy making over $10 million right now. You just never know what you're going to get. And then Matthias Maselli is making $14.5 million for the Leafs. Jesus Christ. Oh, man. Quinn Hughes making $18 million. Canucks fans, yes or no? Yes or no to that particular deal. Dylan Strome making $16 million. That's the Alexander Ovechkin boost right there. All right, we're here at the trade deadline. Gonna pull the trigger on this trade. I didn't think I was gonna make any moves at the deadline. We're gonna move our first-round pick, Vanek, our fourth-line right wing, and Rinas, a goalie that we signed for Lukas Dostal. Our goaltending hasn't been that bad, but I do think a safety net in the form of Dostal is the best way to go. Showing you guys what the goaltending's looked like. I mean, Schneider's jumped up to an 83. He's got a 911, which is great. Allmark, only a 904. Kind of worries me a little bit. So nothing wrong with giving up our first rounder, which should be a good one, to weaken the Anaheim Ducks even further, who aren't on pace to be a playoff team. So that was the first one. He was on an expiring deal, too, as opposed to Sebastian Cossa. Crosby is up, but he does not want to come here. So outside of that, that's pretty much all we're going to be able to do. But it is a big deal to bring in Lukas Dostal, as, yeah, just looking at it, I don't think there's really any other deal that's going to make sense to be made here. So shoring things up at 37, 21-5. Jacob Trumba. Old Truba's on waivers. I mean, sure, I'll claim him. Why not? The AHL could always use another defenseman. So I will see you guys for what is likely to be a postseason run. We'll see how far we make it, though. 47 wins, 30 losses, 5 overtime losses. Not as good as it has been the past couple years, but still pretty good given the circumstances of a drastic shakeup. And let's be honest, winning the division, being the best team in the West last year, did absolutely nothing for us. Anyway, as we'll be playing the Vancouver Canucks in the first round, as we take a look here at the scoring from this season, Jason Robertson, 89 points, 55 goals, incredibly stellar from him. Greentree, 38 goals, 63 points. Not bad, given that at times he was playing with Melchieric, which, again, kind of drags him down a little bit. 58 points, just 15 goals for Kempe. Okay. Anton Lundell, 55 points, while going really throughout all three lines as this season went on. Haminaho, 51 points, 4 shy of the 40 needed. Very disappointed. Gordon Carroll, 47 points. He was great, so shout out to SGC. Trevor Moore, 42 points. Melchieric will not be winning Rookie of the Year, but still worth it to play him in the NHL all season long. Absolutely worth it. Landeskog, 26 points. It's fine. Shihar, 17. Deno on 16. Kolasar sucked once he was brought into the lineup post-deadline. He was awful, so we'll have to make a change there. 64 points for Brant Clark, a little bit down from what he had been doing the past couple of seasons. He had 46 for Nikishin, barely outscoring Mikey Anderson, which is concerning. Again, that is a double elite X-Factor player. Pretty concerning. 30 points for Uyghur. Brustowitz and Dvorak not as strong as they had been, so we'll have to make a decision there. And then goaltending-wise, Dostal, once he was acquired, was absolutely outstanding. He was really good on a bad Ducks team and was ready for the opportunity to run with it. So, yeah, that was a good decision. We'll see what he does in the playoffs, though. We got 3 goalies that could be given a chance at any given time, right? So we'll see what happens. We should look league-wide, too. Why not? It is our last regular season. Let's see who led the way here. So only 2 players broke 100 points. So honestly, the guys that we're looking at being like, okay, that's okay, I guess. They were actually much better than it looked like they were. Jason Robertson was tied for the Rocket Richard, which is great. Defensively, Quinn Hughes was the only guy to put up above 80 points this year. Brant Clark, though, was out of top 5 for defensive scoring. Winningest goaltender was Connor Hellebuck. Shutout leader was Igor Shesterkin. And the save percentage king, Trey Augustine, was up there. Connor Ingram, of course, the second we get rid of somebody. And for the rookies, Zach Charbonneau. Zach is going to win the Calder over Maddox Schultz and others. Pretty good showing for Schaefer Gordon Carroll, finishing top 4. And honestly, we'll probably technically finish second behind Charbonneau. And for goalies, Trey Augustine was actually a rookie. We might have a goalie win Rookie of the Year this year. So let's take a look at what we want to do here now that we have made certain changes. We do know that we have to get Kolasar out of there. Let's let it roll over to the start of the playoffs, because then I can send someone down without waivers being a factor. That is step number 1. Jason Robertson did, in fact, tie for the Rocket Richard. So, yeah, his shot gets even better. His shot pass bias gets a bit better towards shooting. So, shout out to Jason Robertson, tying with Austin Matthews there. So, we were 5th in scoring in the regular season, 9th for the goals against average, top power play, 14th best PK. We've consistently put together good teams, but obviously right now we're still kind of looking at like, okay, what do we want to do here? Maybe let's give. I gotta scratch somebody if we're getting Kolasar out. Let's leave the team the way it is in terms of the personnel. We'll give Kolasar a chance, even though he was awful. What do we want to do here? What do we want to do? I don't have an answer. I don't have an answer to what I want to do here, actually. You know, because we have, just 2 playmakers? Gordon Carroll and Haminaho. We're not going to be able to call anybody up. The fourth line is fine. I'm leaning towards leaving it. I am. Robertson, Gordon, Carroll. I don't want Robertson and Greentree on the same line because I feel like they'll cut into one another's scoring. But Adrian Kempe might as well be another frickin' playmaker. You know. Melisherik on the right. Lundell up. Landeskog at center. We'll do more Landeskog Kempe, which is technically two power forwards together. But again, Kempe might as well be a playmaker. We'll do Robertson, Gordon, Carroll, Melisherik, Haminaho, Lundell, Greentree. Let's try it. What's the worst that could happen? And for the... Oh, my God. I'm presuming you recall when I showed you Vorobiev at the beginning of the season. Jesus. That's a low elite potential, too, right? Yeah, so low elite can still be absurd, clearly. This is a good NHL for low elite. It kind of alternates between years. That is an absurd amount of development. Holy hell. Plus 13 in natural growth across all puck skills. Bunch of plus nines in shot power. God damn. That is outstanding. And all of a sudden, we have Vyacheslav Vorobiev in the conversation moving forward. Should we continue, which we probably won't, and that's okay. The Vancouver Canucks. The Vancouver Canucks are our opponents here. Jake DeBrusk, Elias Pettersson, and Carson Delarovere, who was second overall in 2028. Jonathan Lekirimaki, Oscar Holmertz, and Jack McBain. Elton Hermanson, Mike Amadio, Connor Garland, Brock Besser, Ty Mueller, and Emil Heineman. Brock Besser, fourth line, okay. Defense, Quinn Hughes and Philip Ronick, Tom Willander and Aiden Bouchard, Jeremy Poirier and Connor Timmins. Goalies, Sergei Ivanov and Drew Comesso. Healthy scratches, including the likes of Tyler Seguin. As always, it's been this way pretty much all 5 years. We make the playoffs. I feel like we could do something here, and we'll see if that's the case as Dvorak, Kempe, and Robertson kick off the scoring in this series. We get another goal, this one from Landeskog, and add two more. Gordon, Carroll, and Brustowitz. How do you like that? 6-1 in game number one. We got a bit of scoring from everybody. Dostal was great. 4 assists on the night for Brant Clark, and shout out to Adrian Kempe. Remember when he actually scored goals? He hasn't been doing that too much lately, but he did show up there. Thank goodness for that. Rough day at the office for Ivanov. Game number 2. We'll just keep it going, right? Why make changes? First period is goalless. Second period is not. Poirier scores, and the Canucks will take this one 3-1. So we might have used up all of our goals in that first game. Anton Lundell breaks the shutout. And, I made fun of Jack McBain. He scored as many goals by himself as my team did this entire game. So, interesting. We outscore them 7-4, yet it is a 1-1 split. Not great. Game 3. First period, Dostal. In my head, I was saying 2 losses in a row for Dostal, he's out. For the other goalies, it would just be 1 loss and you're out. Dostal is at risk of losing the net. Second period, we get a goal back with Robertson. Third period, we get another goal from Robertson, but it's too little too late. Where is Liam Greentree? We are down 2-1 to the Canucks here. And, we definitely have a change coming up. Have no choice. Can't lose 2 in a row. We only have 3 goals in that time after scoring 6 in the first game. And with everything on the line here, we got to make some tweaks. So, Dostal, I am so sorry for you, but you're going to be the backup to Terrell Schneider here. Robertson, Schaefer, and Milcherik have done well. Haminaho has disappeared on me. So, the middle 6, not working. Bottom 6, not really working. Shit. What do we want to do here? I'm not sure. Defensively, Anderson and Clark haven't done much. Nikishin doesn't have a point. Brustowitz and Dvorak have been the solid presence. which is really weird. It's only 3 games. We don't want to overreact too much, but if we fall back 3-1 in this series, it's over. We cannot afford to lose this next game. Uyghur is out for Drew Doughty in what might be Doughty's final game. Or is he? Let's give Carroll's a chance from there, and Drew Doughty will sub in for Mikey Anderson, which of course is very risky. But desperate times call for desperate measures, right? So yeah, we'll go Carroll's, Nikishin, Clark, Doughty, Dvorak, and Brustowitz. And then forward-wise, since we can't really sub anybody out, how the hell do we want to deal with this? Elisherek is now a third liner. Again, like that top line hasn't been bad. So those bottom 3 lines. Let's try something stupid. Haminaho, Landeskog, Kolasar. Shihar with Deno and Moore. Kempe, Lundell, Greentree. Maybe. I just hit the wrong damn button, too. Different. I want something different here. Let's go Greentree, Gordon Carroll, Melasherik, Robertson, Lundell, Kempe. We're just throwing things at the wall here, which you can tell probably from earlier seasons. I've tried not to do that, but it's been backfiring, not being a bit more reactionary. First period, it's backfiring anyway. Oh my God, we just haven't been able to get goaltending. 4-0. The Vancouver Canucks are 1 win away from eliminating the LA Kings, who continue to be a force in the regular season, but come playoff time, we just cannot seem to clutch up. What do we have, 3 goals in our last 3 games from one of the top offenses in the league? We hit the playoffs and we just lose multiple steps. Oh, boy. Let's go with Dostal. We might as well. I mean, otherwise it's Allmark to try to save us. Defensively, Doughty didn't do much with his chance. Carroll's was pretty ineffective. Let's get Anderson back in there. Honestly, we'll take out Carson as well, even though he wasn't that bad. We'll get Uyghur back in. Brustowitz and Dvorak. We'll get Dvorak out. Let's try Carroll's and Brustowitz here. And we are going to go with, you know what, I want the opposite. Let's do Anderson and Nikishin, Uyghur and Clark. Let's try that. And then for the forwards. Oh, man. Your guess is as good as mine here, honestly. Let's play the youngsters with Landeskog. We'll have... Actually, can we even do that? Yeah, because then we don't have anybody that can play center outside of Lundell, so we can't even do that. I mean, Greentree's not really a kid anymore, but it could be a kid line. I mean, Greentree hasn't done much this playoffs. So what if we do like a kid line? Haminaho. Let's do Trevor Moore, Landeskog, Kempe, Haminaho with Lundell and Robertson. Again, just throwing things at the wall at this point. We didn't get overreactionary until we had 2 losses, really, and now it's, well, here we go. We got to win. Man, what a shame. I felt like the core of this roster was looking pretty good. Pettersson scores. We can't score. Greentree gets 1, but that's his only one. The LA Kings are eliminated in the first round. Again, we can't even blame Dostal, but our scoring just disappeared. We did really, really well in the regular season to be able to score points, and then we get to the playoffs. It just always seems to be something. Either the scoring disappears, the goaltending falls off. But yeah, we were 5th in goals in the regular season, and We just couldn't score against Avanoff. We scored 6 against him in the first game, and that was it. I mean, no points from the fourth line. Haminaho shit the bed. Not a single point. Trevor Moore with just 1 point. Landeskog was awful. Lundell with just 1 point. Maybe Quentin Byfield and Kevin Fiala were the straws that stirred the drink, but at the same time, we can't say they were doing particularly well either. Nikishin disappeared. Just disappeared. And then goaltending-wise, Dostal was good, but just 1 win in the 4 appearances that he had. Not good enough. That is a shame to have this 5-year plan end just on a whimper like this. I thought we deserved so much better. I don't know, maybe it was, I mean, Bednar is the coach. You wouldn't think that would be the issue. For the most part, you know, we tried to play the player-type game pretty well. It wasn't perfect in that final season there with like one too many power forwards, really. But no matter the combination we tried, nothing seemed to work. And it's not as if you can build up like line chemistry within the line chemistry. There's, as the Ontario Reign actually win the Calder Cup, which is great. So at least we won something. But it's not like you can build up line chemistry by playing certain guys together for longer. It's just, are they a +1, +3, +4, +5, right? Or +2 even, why not? It'd be nice, right? Because you talk about some of the more famous lines in hockey, and it's like, well, that's because they played together a ton. And we don't really have that replicated in the game right now. The Winnipeg Jets have won the Stanley Cup, which means 5 seasons and 5 different winners, and just 2 from the Western Conference. Kyle Connor won the Art Ross Trophy. Kucherov the Hart. Quinn Hughes wins the Norris. The Calder does go to the Charbonneau. Connor also wins the Conn Smythe. Trey Augustine wins the Vezina. Jack Adams to Travis Green in Vancouver. Selke to Austin Matthews. Ted Lindsay to Kyle Connor. And then in the AHL, God, I don't remember your name. I don't. Jordan Davidson, maybe. Sorry. Top goal scorer. Ellie Tolvanen was the MVP, or top point getter. Tolvanen was the top goal scorer. Nordmark, the top rookie. Kallio Delius, the top defenseman. And Tom Forsberg, top goaltender. And Vorobiev. Oh, man. You know, we might have to do a 5-year plan +1. We might have to. How good is Vorobiev at the end of the year? My God, is he showing up in the NHL roster? Where the hell is this guy? And he's up to an 81. He's a depth forward. Damn. Well, shout out to Drew Doughty. We kept him the whole time. But again, we end things on a bit of a whimper here, unfortunately. Like I said, I like the idea of these 5-year plans, just relatively quick as opposed to 10+ year challenges. Just something different than what we have done for so many years on this channel as Ovi retires with 1,100 goals. Just absolutely ridiculous. And yeah, hey, there are some shouts for who to run with next. Certainly you could talk about a team like the Calgary Flames. Certainly you could talk about other teams, although I know 2BC just started up with Calgary, so I'm sure he's got that covered, right? You got to trust GM Superb Man, of course. But yeah, for now, we'll see where we go next. Drew Doughty did retire, by the way. I didn't even mention it, and he becomes a coach. So does Alexander Ovechkin. But we are done for now, unless we're not, because I'm really hungry for some vengeance there. I feel like we deserved better. And let's be honest, a first-round exit, can I really say I have the Kings in better shape than when I took over? I'd like to think so, but we don't have the results to show for it.